All right. I'm kind of doing something a bit different at the moment, and I have no idea what the fuck I sound like. I'm like on a headset, so I don't know. Does it sound okay? I don't fucking know. So that's why I'm asking. Oh, what am I saying? There's nobody fucking here yet. Well, there's two people, probably stalkers or Carol and Shibby or God knows who. Can anybody hear me? Hello? Okay. Are you able to hear me or no? Does it sound okay if you can? Blah, 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 blah. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, because I mean, does it usually sound better the normal way, or does it sound better like this? Oh, yeah, it always starts this way. There's some stalkers, and then one or two shows up, and then the rest will get here. Just give it a minute. You usually have to sit around like this, so. Diane should probably, she's finishing up what she has to do and stuff, and then she'll probably be in here. Well, I don't necessarily need a ton of people or whatever for this kind of stuff. I mean, mainly, yeah, depending on who's here and who's not and those other crap, that's why I'm going to figure out what's going on from that point. I'm not feeling good today. I'm not feeling great at all. It's because you're here too early, bro. All right, does it sound better now or what? Because I'm using a Bluetooth headset. I'm wondering if this stupid Apple is it still using the mic from the laptop or the MacBook? That'd be dumb. But it is an Apple. Interesting. Come on, no, not that. The other one. Well, at least maybe I can mess with the settings or whatever and turn up the mic. Input volume. Output. Input. All right, it was about halfway up. Does it sound a bit better now when I talk or what? Or does it sound any different at all? Because when I speak, I can see the graph shoot across the thing or whatever. Well, yeah, the microphone on the headset was set to like halfway up or whatever. Okay, I had a feeling. But yeah, it was, I don't know. I had Bluetooth headset. We some crackhead had stolen it a while before because I was trying to help the dude call a ride or some shit, and then I couldn't find this headset. It's a special headset, and I didn't find it. It's for like over a year, and finally I found it just chilling somewhere. By that point, I had like, oh, see, I told you I turned it up, man. I turned up the microphone because I had just for the first time hooked up this. This is a Bluetooth headset that my friend bought me a long ass time ago. I lost it for a real long time, but it's really pretty good headset. I also got these iPad, I don't know, the ear things for the fucking Apple shit. The iPod Pro thing, whatever fucking call them, whatnot. And those work well too. I lost the damn Apple charger wire. I mean the charge them bitches up because they work real well. And they're well, both things are wireless. This one just looks a little more silly because it's a full headset. But No, I thought for the longest time like a crackhead had robbed it because I let him use the phone or whatever you call his drive-in, and then I never found the headset after that for probably well over a year. And then the other night when I was looking for specific lights, because the whole most of the electricity in the house that I usually just use for storage now, the lights are like kind of pretty well fucked. I should probably change all the damn bulbs and shit. Probably make a difference. But yeah, the house is only used as basically a shed. And then and then I have an RV that I use for storage. And I have another RV in case one RV breaks down and like something in it, like electricity or water or whatever could be used. And then I have another RV that's when I stay in. And then I have like an apartment that's connected to the motorcycle shed. Well, it's not really a motorcycle shed. I guess it's like just a really, really big fucking shed. Well, we're up to 5 now, but it's just me and Chibi apparently. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, how do I put this, Chibi? Since you're the only one that's basically talking at the moment, and I don't care who hears it because this is at least interesting to me. I don't know why the hell it wasn't interesting to everybody else, but window AC. What are you talking about, dude? I had no idea. Oh no, I was no. I think the pool right now, the pump or whatever, has gone over because of the rain, and I got to go out there and window AC. No, the two RVs that I stay in most of the time have central air conditioning, but the house has window ACs in it just because I'm too lazy to take them out. The apartment in the back that's connects to the motorcycle shed, though, it has window AC too. No, I got one RV is a 2015, the other one is a 2023, but electrical problems and shit go back and forth, so I end up kind of moving back and forth half the time. Oh, yeah. I mean, me? No. I mean, obviously not me. Okay, what I'm gonna tell you is, we have a quite a bit of messages and all this other shit going from around late January to sometime in March about after the verdict and shit, and I guess I can't remember when the sentencing was, but it would have been probably after that too. And most of it, I'm not even gonna lie to you, it's just a bunch of normal shit that people would talk about by being in jail. But then there's other just like somewhat interesting things or whatever. And then it kind of gives you an idea of the kind of person Richard Allen is. Not like everybody cares, but and, politics and crap like that. It's like we can tell you what party he's in or whatever, and blah blah blah. Yes, my dirty comrade talked to him, and not just him, but well, I mean, basically people involved in DUP. I've talked to a few myself. King Klein, Garrett Kurtz. Who else? I can't remember the third one. But apparently, Diana herself has talked to a few. And she didn't. I mean, I've only been around for like around her for like maybe 2 months now, give or take. And I hear about it. And, somebody else, somebody not me or not her tells me this, and I continue to start blabbing on because trolls is what I do. I'm like, hey, like what? Repeat that. Well, yeah, talk to him. Well, like that, blondie, annoying one, that one. Talk to Richard Allen. I think I need to have a little discussion with my partner in crime here. So, I waited a day or two or whatever. I'm like, I don't want to seem like I'm gonna freak out or I'm weird about it or anything like that. I'm like, to be honest with you, I just really want to know what the hell's going on. And I was like, Diana, we need to have a conversation. And she's like, oh, like, yeah, it's kind of a no. And I'm like, did you think at some point that you were ever going to tell me, like, I don't know, you're Dr. fucking Richard Allen? Oh, I thought you did that. No. Charles did not know that. I knew about the one, but no, not. Did you think that with my addiction to true crime and all this other stuff, that I might want to know what a double murderer said? She goes, hey! And I'm like, shh. He's been convicted. I don't want to argue. Shh. Like, you should have told me, even if you didn't know if I knew or not. I'd have been like, oh, what if I didn't know? Holy shit. So, I mean, I thought I was going to end up taking quite a bit of time to actually get this stuff. Oh, I'm not talking to a wall. I'm looking at a laptop. It's all, well, not a laptop, but a MacBook. And look at this. We were doing a live last night, and we're just bullshitting and everything else. And I think we're watching the video about the guy who likes to smell his own farts and shit. And they're trying to catch Lisk, but it was a really lame episode and crap. So, what was it? I'm sitting there trying to pay attention to the video, be polite. Because we got a bunch of people. I think it was like 15 people in here last night. I mean, I knew at least half of them were stalkers. We always get, like, see, there's almost 10, but you probably got 3 people in the chat. That means we probably at least got 5 stalkers. At least give it 4 or 5. Or maybe they just really like me and they don't want their bosses to see them talking to me, so they just hide and watch. Doubt it. But yeah. But we're just sitting there watching a stupid video for that stupid thing. I don't think either of us noticed, but we got like a half partial strike or something because I was using copyrighted material. I don't care. Fuck you, YouTube. And next thing you know, my phone goes off and there's like a fucking bunch of text, and pictures, and all this other crap. I'm like, holy crap, what did you send me, dude? Because there's like a ton of them. And I'm looking, I'm like, oh, shit. I'm like, well, I mean, I guess we can just call those receipts. So I mean, it's like the chirp system kind of deal going on for, well, there's like 2 different prisons that were being run in 2. I think one was Pendleton, and the one other one might have been the. I'll have to ask her when she gets on. It should be soon. But they each had a different system. It looked completely different or whatever. But I could see the messages from both. I have them, and yeah, basically his name and I did ID in the prison system and all that shit's on every fucking message. So it's like, holy yeah, I got proof. I got the person he talked to, and I got what he said. I'm like, no. I mean, even if this didn't even say much, I'd probably want to post this shit because people might be interested in what the hell he just had to say about himself. At least the innocent people, right? So I'm like, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. But then I see a few texts, and they just bug me. It's like they really fucking bug me. Like one text he didn't mean to send to her. Apparently he was sending to a nun. You're 2 people. Yeah, I mean, I play on the phone and all kinds of other stuff. But yeah, there was a weird text that he wasn't supposed to send to her. It was supposed to, I guess, go to a nun, and he apologized for it in messages and stuff. But I'm looking at it, and I'm like, that sounds familiar. I mean, I don't know. It's just maybe because I think he's guilty. That's what I see. But Diana's like, you're reaching. And I'm like, maybe I am, but it's still possible. And she goes, well, that is true. So I'm like, okay. So it's an interpretation thing. Richard Allen was texting a nun. I guess she was texting Richard Allen, trying to get him to talk about his faith in the Lord and all this other bullshit. My assumption. We can't see what all the texts were between him and the nun. But one of the texts he ended up sending Diana was supposed to go to the nun. And it somehow corresponds with, how do I put this? Like a time right before the trial, basically. I think, Actually, there's another thing, too. Mr. Allen also gives us his lovely opinion in Indiana state government and law enforcement too. And we find out what politics he's into. So yeah, and like I said, it's in a weird, different way. It's interesting. You know, I mean, it's good to understand these kind of people, whether they're guilty or not, in my opinion. But there's a couple of things in there that just make me go, But then it's like, wait, didn't you and Prop and everybody else go through this? And y'all didn't notice that? They didn't think it was that big a deal. Like, so she just, oh my God. Like, it's like you got to read between the lines or whatever. And yeah. He almost got snippy with the damn nun, and that in itself catches my eye. Like, huh? What would you do? You couldn't have sounded mean, even though at the end you did say thanks, sister. But it didn't sound like the very nicest way to put it. Like, you'll understand it very soon. I'm not going to make you wait very long. When we have the my idea, at least, I still have to talk about it with Diane and all that. We're supposed to be either Thursday or Friday. Hopefully, it'll be Thursday. We're going to have another Heather Streamathon theme. And even though the main people didn't show up at the last one, well, I think I found a way around that by inviting and asking like 10 times more creators to come this time. And then that happened around the same time. Yeah, maybe a day or two. So I'm sitting there getting a hold of these people, waiting on months to get back a hold of me because they hate me, vice versa, and all that's going well and stuff. But then this happens and it gets dropped in my lap, and I'm just like, well, shit, Diana, that means we're going to have to do some sort of live with this too, like very soon, because once I tell the world that this exists, they're going to start fucking wondering about what the hell he's got to say. And she's like, they're not going to care that much. All day long, anybody I said something to has been asking. Anybody that saw the damn post or whatever has been asking. I'm like, I can't tell you yet. That's the whole point. So then I got to kind of, how do I put this? I have a clusterfuck idea. And to me, it sounds like a good idea. But that's why I have Diana around to tell me when I'm being stupid. So I'm waiting for her to come up to tell me I'm stupid in regards to that. But basically, I was like, yo, at the moment, with our, not very high amount of subs and all this other crap, I mean, the most we've had is like been heavy thawing and shit was going on. And we had like 40 plus people in the chat and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, we want to get this goal finished and get done with. So basically, we need as many motherfuckers that we can get up here on stage in the chat, blah, 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 blah. I'm wondering if, I should debut all those texts and shit in the conversations, either before, during, or after the fucking, the Heather stream. Because if there's anything at this moment of time that's going to get massive people into this damn thing watching us, it's those messages and the conversations and stuff. And he's, as I did say, he's not the only one. We have another interesting person in regards to Delphi, and we have a lot more information on him. I'm not saying the word yet because me and Diana got to talk about that and go through them because apparently there's far more than what you don't. When I say I have far more, I just mean that the amount of stuff this person said in compared to Richard Allen, like he seems like the type of person you see him in real life. He's kind of soft-spoken but grumpy in a kind of way. I definitely can tell it's definitely, you just have to trust me until you see it. It's ain't gonna be long. It is an open conversation. Trust me, if there was anything bad, I would already removed it. Like I said, most of this is normal prison talk. When I say that none was asking him about his faith, he doesn't mention anything about his faith. That's mainly the important part of the message, or kind of part of it. And unless you call him naming up his political party is a big deal, like I said, it's just a way to build the character and start getting details about him. Now, there was a couple of things that the way they're worded and everything else make you go, but it's not up to him. When he decided, the law states when he decided to mess it back, and I'm not trying to insult this man, FYI, probably not. See, at some point after he was sentenced or whatnot, they blocked everybody that was talking to him. Everybody. At one certain point, because well, I was going to wait until Diana come on here because she has a better way of explaining it. I'm basically just basing it on what she told me. All the people from the public or whatever that was getting a hold of him was making him feel like shit, so they blocked everybody. And this hasn't been the first time this has happened, apparently. And I guess at that point, she just didn't try to reach back out. And I said, when I found out finally just the other day, I was like, no, we reach back out. I don't care. Make up a name. Get it back on the line. And nobody's asking anything back. It has nothing to refer to the crimes or anything like that. No details of the trial itself. Like I said, there's just some interesting things that said that correspond to certain events in the timeline, not the murders. I'm just talking about near the trial. That's what I'm saying. It's all in how you interpret it. Me, I see it as a way that he is. I don't want to say it yet because if I say it the way I say it, and she's going to say I'm fishing or I'm reaching or whatever the hell she is, but he describes a specific time frame that you're going to find out soon enough. And it kind of becomes odd because a lot of the innocence people call somebody's particular testimony and stuff fake and all that. And especially, and there's a lot of other fake comments and shit going around by the post-state people in regards to another time frame in this as well. And a lot of people also tell me that he didn't offer. Stop asking. Yeah. I'm not falling for that, okay? I'm wide awake. Like I said, it's just, to me, I mean, if you think about what you know about the case and then how it's worded, and then you go back through the timeline in your head and remember when an event that occurred that happened that sounds kind of like that, you stop and you're like, wait, but the innocence people say that ooh. So if that person's telling that, ooh, then holy shit, couldn't it be possible? Everything just, yeah. Like I said, it could be fishy. I mean, I would have to know exactly what happened to him the entire time he was spent in jail and right before that and stuff, I guess, to kind of get a verification on that whatsoever. And it's weird because it was the one text that was not supposed to get sent to her. It was never supposed to get there. It was supposed to go to the nun, I guess. He calls her sister, so that's why I assume it's not. FYI. I'm guessing because, they contact killers that are going on death row and all this other stuff. They probably want to be like, you want to, ask Jesus Christ to save you or, something like that. And mainly, see, this is why I'm trying to get this Discord finished and stuff. Believe it or not, most of y'all would have no problem in there and actually just going ahead and showing you guys. As I would just make a promise to go showing it to anybody just yet. But because I want to use those to get people into the live from all the groups. Because, yeah, if you know the case, then you probably want to know what the hell Richard Allen has to say for his own damn self, right? That's just common sense. That's why as soon as I heard it existed, I was like, give me now. Give me all of it. Give me now. This is not protected conversation. The cops are able to record it in the whole 9 yards. I mean, this is where it gets a little bit weird, and I'm not even trying to be really selling this or whatever. When people start ignoring evidence and all kinds of other stuff, and just not willing to have a conversation at all, it worries me because it's almost like people are being brainwashed. It's like, what about the case's details bothers you so much that you can't have that conversation? There is nothing, absolutely nothing that I guarantee. If I broke it down into questions, most of these y'all could answer about me, even though we haven't had extensive conversations and shit about it. And nobody's expecting. You don't want to be here? Don't be here because, like I said, I'm going to use those to get people in here to boost the money and shit because to go into Heavy, who's dying of cancer. And as far as I'm concerned, that's a double murderer right there. So I don't care if people get mad that he might like Trump or he might like the kid snipper or whatever. I don't think that's a big deal. That's just silly. You know how many other people he's probably talked to? Hundreds. Are you calling Diana a liar? I mean, I seen the phone messages himself to, the original stuff because it's right on their phone. And then she just screenshot the original stuff and sent them to me. So as I said, the person I'm interviewing about this, that was the person that talked to Rick Allen and this other person was Diana. And if that were the case, then Diana must be some amazing, like she captured the essence of Richard Allen. Well, that's your opinion, dude. If it's such a freaky deaky thing, no, see that all y'all are blinded to the fact that you somehow think that he's innocent. Now that's not how investigation goes. You have to be open-minded. Don't decide way too early that this man might be innocent. You didn't even hear the one side of the whole conversation. I mean, I didn't even have a suspect for like 8.5 years until I heard Rick Allen's voice. You need to look at everything from a whole perspective. And if I can sit here and ask people questions left and right, and y'all can't remember these parts of the case, then I start to believe that you just have not been being told what you're supposed to be told the whole time. Like, okay, how about this? In a very short amount of steps, I can find Richard Allen 1,000 years before freaking the shops in Indiana could have. So how it took 9 years is beyond me. I only need like 4 steps, and I don't need him to identify himself either. Yes, Diana. Yes, and other people. I mean, I myself talked to Keegan Klein, and I also talked to Gary Kurtz. I had those things to somewhere else. They use chirp device. You have to put money on their books, blah, blah, blah. On the other hand, Diana somehow got Richard Allen to fucking talk. I can learn her secrets because I see her messages too. So that's interesting, very interesting. And then this other person that we need to go through a much more, like we had the other person, there's much more stuff that needs to be gone through. Like edited, I don't know, you would say. I'll leave that to her. No. You see a card that says cleared on it. When we have no officers and anything like that, we have no actual. And why does people keep bringing up Ron Logan? Do I need to explain? And I'm not trying to sound rude. I know it always sounds like I'm from the ghetto, so that's why it sounds like an attitude. Okay, Ron Logan at 209 took a phone call, almost like a customer service line phone call. By his GPS, where was he? He was at the very beginning of his driveway where his truck was parked. Now that call lasted till almost 2:19 p.m. And we already know by Libby's video and all that shit, they already run into Bridge Guy by then. Or about to, or whatever it is, like 4 minutes away. Problem is, when 2:19 hits and the GPS on his phone is clocked again, guess where he is at? He's down the road almost to the highway. So basically, Ron Logan has an alibi. Unless somebody else happened to be there, grabbed his phone, hopped in his truck, and drove to the highway while he's off killing the girls, it can't be Ron Logan. Brad Blake Porter, whatever the hell his name is, he was cleared. There's cameras in his trucks and all kinds of other shit. Plus, I think the clock-in thing and all that stuff matches what he is. Brad Weber's telling a bit of a fib in his story, but the only difference there is about 14 minutes, give or take. I don't think he has time to give it. Yeah, it's impossible to be part of it. Okay, I'll contemplate that. Maybe that's why he was hauling ass on. There's a lot of different weird things about Brad Weber and shit. Plus, his gun is exclusive, blah, 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 blah. Don't get me wrong, it's bullshit, but it should be more like a circumstantial evidence kind of thing. Like, we can say this bullet might have come from his gun. Okay, now if you say that, I'll possibly listen to you. After you still test 1,000 fucking guns, not 5, 1,000. Hear me? Huh? What are you talking about? I don't understand what you mean by there. No, there wasn't. Can you at least say what you're talking about in the thing so I understand what you're talking about? But when was the last time Holder was seen? And Holder doesn't match any of the stuff. Are y'all freaking? I can't wait till I find somebody in this magical group. I know Giuseppe says he's okay at it, so I need to work out that. But he hasn't been back since. Is there not anybody around here that fucking does trigonometry at all? Does everybody just suck at math? I just wonder. I'm not trying to make you sound like assholes or feel bad or anything like that. It's like y'all seem like smart people half the time. Nobody? Trigonometry? Anybody? Anybody? Who do you think did it before? I didn't have a suspect before Richard Allen because I sat here the whole time taking every detail, every rabbit hole, anything. I could tell you some shit you probably never even knew. Okay, trust me. And the rabbit hole is a Delphi. No, I knew. Okay, I'm sure everybody's heard me say it a million times before, right? I have a photographic memory or an eidetic memory. Well, when this case first started going up, and the thing that always bothered me most was the guys don't know, guys don't know, guys don't know. Do you have any idea how many times I've heard that audio comparing it to Ron Logan, comparing it to the Kleins, Daniel Nations, anybody and every Gary Kurtz? I mean, everybody. I've heard it millions of times by now. And at one point, I think 4 years into the crime, I was like, I will never forget that, Lang. I know exactly how it sounds, and I will never take a suspect until I hear somebody that's at least 90% of that. And don't get me wrong, since we don't have a lot of bridge guy to work with, okay, that should not be clarified as any expert response or anything because we don't have enough bridge guy to verify that. So I will say that. But I knew they were going to make an arrest. There was going to be a way to attach whoever it was to the to the trails at that time, at this, that, and the other, and I probably something to do with the car too because I always thought it was weird about the car. But basically, all I needed to hear was somebody that was close, like very close, like very. You trust me. I had machines and programs go over that shit and like find the dialect, the pitch, the tone, the everything. And I just waited. And I waited. And one day, I think the day before, we were talking shit and just goofing off and nothing much was going on. We were talking about the clients and all kinds of shit. The next morning I wake up, I see on my subscriptions page, it literally just says, somebody arrested in the Delphi murders. And I was like, ha! Fucking trolls, you think you're going to trick me like that? Bullshit video. And then I almost hit the sub thing to get away from there. And then I saw who had posted the video. And at this point, I haven't talked to anybody, by the way. And when I see that the video is posted by the Inquisitor, I'm like, maybe I should watch this video because he's not the type to clickbait bullshit like that. So I proceed to click the video and watch it. And I start going, what the fuck? They actually made an arrest. And they're like, well, we're going to tell you on Halloween. I'm like, bitch, have you not learned yet? We are not going to wait. We will figure out who the fuck he is. And we sure did, too. And all of the cops are full of shit. They're horrible. But the point is, I can replace and kick them all to the curb. And I can still tell you, using those directions that she gave the jury, I can find you enough evidence to locate, ID, and make Richard Allen a person of interest within 2 weeks. 2 weeks. And I'll have more evidence than the cops do now as well. And probably an interrogation that he's already lied in. My own personal thought. She is coming. I told you that. It's like I'm talking to a wall. Yes, Diana will be here. She had to finish work. She's been working late for the last couple of days. And yes. Why are you lying, Chippy? Do you think Diana's going to leave me here or whatever? And literally, like, she don't know what I'm up to. She knows I can't be trusted. I need a chaperone, so she'll be here. What's the Harbor Store video of BG walking by 300 North after... Okay, what's the Harbor Store? Where's the Harbor Store? There was never video of it. That's what everybody seems to be mistaken. You can have video driving up to the thing or whatever, like when he's pulling into the... backing into the place or whatever. Why is everybody gonna be mean to me? See, you know what? That's like real unfair, y'all. Because I think differently than all y'all think, but I still come over here and I respectfully try to give everybody a heads up on all the details of the case and stuff. But then y'all get mad at me. But I'm just like, why was I kicked out of all these groups to begin with? Because I didn't agree with y'all, so I said people were stupid. That's basically what you're trying to say to me. But when I actually try to pull out evidence that is real, I get people covering their ears and running away. It's like really weird. It happens on a daily basis. It's like, guys, are we trying to figure out who really killed the girls? Or are you just trying to figure out how to make the guy innocent that you're not even sure of? Y'all say, free the man, this, that, and the other. I'm sorry. I can name off plenty of things that literally would lead him as the greatest source of information, a person of interest, and at least felony murder charges. No, I mean, it's just, no, I'm not crying. See, really? Did you not see a few? I swear to God. I try to be nice to y'all. Y'all did not notice a month ago I got in a massive fight with like two massive ass groups of people who came out of laughing. It's like, don't make me be mean. I like you guys. What was so sloppy? You can't say that something without giving context to it. But there's these things like I when I listen to y'all explain it to me, I can hear that you heard it from somebody else, but you didn't look into your very well yourself, and neither did the person that told you it. And it's like, no, I can literally do this, and this with pictures, diagrams, the whole 9 yards. But it's like a lot of people don't want to listen. I think that it's because it's me for one. But it's like I don't want to convince anybody into thinking anything different. What I want you all to know is the information as it exists. That's it. If you start thinking edgewise that it might be something different than what you think, and that gets you upset, that's not Charles. That's you. Your mind should always be open to any and every possibility in a case. Until you have sufficient evidence pointing to somebody else, nobody should be eliminated, including Richard Allen. This is how investigations are done. No, he didn't. Okay, here's the thing about the Harbor Store camera. It is motion sensor activated, right? I'm trying to explain it. But from that distance, a human doesn't set off the trigger of the motion sensor to record. So the only way a human would get recorded is if a car goes by setting it off. What are we talking about? What? But honestly, guys, come on. Are we kidding? No. I'd like to think I like y'all. I think y'all are very, very, very bright, smart, lovable people. But if we're going to try to say that's not, okay, we can say it's not Richard Allen's car. You can make that bit of argument. But if you're going to say it's either a different car or this or that, I'm sorry, it's a 2014, 2017, between there and there, Ford Focus SE hatchback. And it appears the rims on the car has a black color thing that sometimes you can see a tiny bit of light through. And the car itself is black. Now, that's the issue that people don't want to hear on the innocent side. I don't need him to tip himself in. I can explain. See, now you're in all caps. It's saying that. What are we talking about anyway? Are you talking about how I can prove it's a car? For one, you haven't even given me a chance to prove it's a car. To prove it is, huh? Well, no, they're carrying because the guy parked the car and witnesses seeing him get out of that car and head to the front beginning of the trails, where more witnesses saw him. And then he's still wearing the same stuff. Remember that he just got out of the car, so you. No, I just said, dude, are you not paying attention? I just said if a car is probably backing in or setting up the radar, and the person happens to be walking by at that exact moment, sure, the camera might have gotten it. But apparently it did not. So there was no people walking by at the exact moment he was backing in the car. Or whoever. But there's distinct markings and grooves and all kinds of other shit on that specific car that is not available in the Suzuki, not available in the Volkswagen. None of the other 10 cars have them. But you can identify those markings in the picture. So, yes, we're Rick's name's dignity. It's not. It's really not. The distance between the Hoover Hardware Store camera that's on top of a silo, if I remember right, is fucking really far. That's why the pictures look like shit like they do. But there's still identifying marks like the spin on top of that car on the very back of it in that specific exact spot. The distance between the back wheels and the bumper that you can obviously also in the picture. And then there's markings on the front hood and by the wheel well on the front tires that also correspond only with the 2014 to 2017 Ford Focus SE hatchback. And if you have that information, which I was able to go locally with the same pictures, the trial I printed it out because my boy Tom Webster and all them posted them because he's awesome like that for us. It's not Snake, or at least I don't think it's Snake. No. It's one of the lurkers probably or whatever. But they're not being bad, so I don't mind them being here. But yeah, it's not a problem. So if they're being decent people, I don't care what they're talking about as long as they're being decent people. So move on. I took that exact picture that was used at the trial, made a copy of it basically, and took it down, asked mechanics. They could tell me right away exactly the same thing I knew, and I'm not a fucking mechanic for one. They literally told me it was like a 2014. Of course, they make 3 years or whatever, then they stop, and they change the design, then they do it again. And this is actually a common thing. You can buy guides for your car at the AutoZone and shit. That each you will notice it's like 3 years, 3 years, 3 years. That's how they make their money. The white van, we have a ring cam where the white van is shown, but there's a problem with the timeline. But 14 minutes, I'm sorry. I'm not going to cry about 14 minutes. I need more than 14. Yeah. I mean, if he was actually going in that direction, I think he hit, like, went across or whatever the hell it is, that weird spot. I remember seeing in, like, Turbo video that Turbo put out before. Like, they basically walked the whole path that bridge guy would have walked from that specific spot over near the side lobe where the camera and all that is. And well, the building wasn't there anymore because I think by then they had demoed it and all kinds of other stuff. Yeah, I had a feeling he was gonna. Yeah, anybody that Snake wouldn't come in here. It's an alternate name or whatever. So yeah, who is what guys? Just you. Who is friends with who? What wasn't him? That's not Rick's name. Well, Snake's got a bunch of my channels and shit blocked, and yeah, that's how it goes. I mean, I became such an asshole at some point. Even when I stopped being an asshole, I still got banned. Prop was the same way, and I don't know. Actually, I think I have Prop. I mean, he's not banned, but he's blocked because he's like. I'd rather, yeah. No, him and somebody else basically thought they were going to attack me, and I'm like, who the fuck do you think you are? Do we need to have this all again for me to remind you about this? And then he got left alone, so it was fine. But I'm sitting there agitated by it. But I keep my calm, and then somebody else attacked me, and I kept my calm again, which is amazing. Charles kept his calm not once, but twice. And then they attacked me again, and I said, nope, that's 3 times. That's already a record. And I just started hitting pimp slaps out the motherfuckers left and right. And then I basically put them in timeout, and I told them to think about what they did, and if they ever disrespect me again, I will annihilate them. And yeah, they're in timeout right now. And I'm not saying I have a problem with them. If I'm talking to you like this, and we're having a calm, cool, rational conversation, if you start yelling at me and talking to me like you're below me or above me or whatever, I'm below you. I'm sorry. No. I don't care what side you're. I don't care if you're my best friend in the world. You don't have that right, and I'm probably gonna knock you the fuck out. Like he was on the internet. I know I'm calm, dude. Well, it takes me. Yeah. Oh, you probably talking about Snake? I don't have a problem with Snake right now. Snake literally was just like, I told Snake he didn't. He was like, I don't trust you. I don't like you. And I'm not. Putting him on Front Street. It's straight up what he said. It's not that bad. And I was like, dude, don't trust me. Don't like me. I'm just saying, see if I follow the rules or not. And if I don't, just ban me. Very simple. That's all I said. He doesn't understand the situation. He really doesn't. And that tells me that you don't understand the situation. But you've been in our group. Do you know why I joined? Yeah, that could be any person. Could be that's probably Gibbo, actually. What am I thinking? Yeah, probably. Because he likes to pick on Snake a lot. And I don't try to explain why he lied to his wife. He lied to his wife because she believed he did it up until that moment. Because she literally, I could see them having an argument at the house and her looking at that video or whatever and going, it looks like what you wear. It sounds like you. It does this. It does that. And I think the only thing that he could pull out of his ass at that point in time was like, yeah, but I never got on the bridge. Guys reach for the simplest lie, but it seems to make sense in our heads when we're trying to get away with shit, right? The easiest way to make sure that he can't be blamed by her, and honestly, women want to believe it. So even though it's bullshit, I'm sorry, it's just bullshit. And I can't even find somebody on here that knows trigonometry other than me. So it's like I can't even show them how the hell to measure freaking rich guy. So everybody just looks at me funny. So I'm like, this really sucks. Nobody's dangerous. And there's, okay, if he's dangerous, then there's a lot of us that are dangerous. So it's just silly. Somebody is only as dangerous as you let them become. And that usually starts with fear and all this other stuff. And there is nobody ever that's even been on this case that's frightened me or whatever. Whether it be in the chat room, in DMs or whatever, or in person. I know that for a fact because I may not be the tallest, but I'm damn sure. Well, I used to be one of the biggest weight-wise. I'm not so much anymore. I'm wider, but still not bigger. I'm at 200 pounds again, y'all. Isn't that awesome? I'm fatty again. I'm happy. 6'4", 200, just fat. But no, it just seems like, no, I'm sorry. You want to have my personal opinion about the conversation between Rick Allen and his wife right there in the fucking cops thing? I think he was about to fold under the fucking pressure. I think when that last time, and he literally looks up at the sky for a second there, then looks down, and he's like he's about to lie again. and he's trying to convince her that he did do it, but then he just stops, like he can't lie anymore. He sighs this big sigh. She says something about, yeah, you were. She basically mocks something he said, and then he just goes, "Love you." And it's like getting caught cheating or whatever. I mean, times I've seen people be, cheating or whatever, and the guys like they know they're fucked. They try to lie for a while, but then at some point they just can't lie anymore, and they hang their head like beaten dogs with tails tucked between their legs, and they just go, "I love you." That's exactly what I saw. And I like I said, I had 4 years of psychology and shit. Yeah, Schmack had no paradox, my brother. Oh, Rich needs dignity? Well, that could be that person too. Huh. Well, see, that's what I'm saying. Don't assume everybody's a fucking enemy, because that's not true at all. But yeah, based on my perspective, some things in these messages kind of look weird. And I don't expect you to think the same. I'm not going to even tell you what I think of them. I'm just going to show everybody this stuff. But it's interesting. That's all I'm saying. Just fucking interesting. Um, no, I'm sorry. I don't see any way around it. No. Maybe you can convince me that somehow somebody helped him murder the girls, or he helped others murder the girls. But I'm sorry, he's either a witness or he's the killer, or with the killers, or one of the killers. There's no way around that. If he's the guy in the video, which, yeah, if you understood math as I do, I mean, I could get Dan in here because I'm pretty sure he does know trigonometry. If we could figure it out between us, he'd come up with the same damn near number, and y'all would just say, "Yeah, he's a fucking troll. Of course he's going to say that." It's like y'all don't want to hear the truth, and it's fine with that, but you don't want to know the truth. I mean, it's just like if you're not hearing the whole case and understanding the whole case, then basically, aren't you somehow, if he is the murderer? If, by the way, I did say if, or involved, that's might put that man back on the street. You want to accept responsibility if the next person that gets killed by him? Because I always see people saying, "Ask, free this person, free that person." And I always ask them the same thing. I'm like, cool, he can come stay at their house, at your house. I'll include a pallet of box cutters and booze, and we'll have a great time. Right? Sounds great. Like, good idea. Nobody seems to like that idea, but I'm like, but he's innocent. He'd never hurt a fly. And nobody, I think a couple of insane people were like, "Yeah, I'll do it." I'm like, shut up. No, you ain't doing nothing. And I get it. Sometimes it's, in certain instances and things that we know that happened that are just weird. Yeah, it's like you get left with a bad feeling that the case wasn't exactly quite a fair shake, I guess, in its own way. But at the same time, if you eliminate all the fucking cops and just put me using basic steps, including goals, directions to the jury, you will find Rick Allen within a couple of weeks. I'm not saying you'll find him as a suspect, but he's definitely a person of interest at that point. It's very simple. I don't know what. Okay, for the life of me, I'm going to tell you how I feel. And this is the only part of me. Most of me feels, just like I said, that the cops were just incompetent. Understood? So I want to make that clear. But there's still a part of me that wonders why or how. Like, you have to go through academy shit and everything else each time you promote yourself, to detective and this, that, and the other. You got to go through more shit in schooling and everything else. How do you not stop everything and locate the fucking car first? Anybody here that's done more cases than Delphi, please answer me. Would any other police force have just left that car unidentified and just, it's fucking beyond me. How did they just let the car just, but you not understand, it's so odd. I didn't, well, I don't know, I don't know, how am I going to reach out to her? And Tracy didn't come here either. She must think that her shit don't stink either. And Mandy, I was just lazy and I didn't email her. But I think she was sleeping or something. That's why I didn't bother. But yeah, it's like, guys, okay, if you can somehow look at the simple pieces of evidence that I basically ask about and still come up with your same observations and shit, I would be more than happy to accept it and be like, all right, cool. Or hell, even open to a conversation. And that's why I keep asking people. I'm like, hey, how about you convince me? And really, there's just one piece of evidence, and that kind of has been explained away, but I haven't seen it myself. So I'm waiting for the transcripts. Once I have those, I'll check it, and then I'll actually know that what they're saying is true. But I already admit that it's probably true. That other DNA was actually the DNA from a crime scene search guy or whatever. And if you eliminate that, then we go right back to Charles's theory that this was Rick Allen by himself, like I've been saying all along. And I need to go out and put the punching bag out there again with the 400 buck. Well, I don't like 400. Can I only do 250 this time? I mean, that's plain, right? And see, just show y'all the things were done at the scene. You can do it in like 55 minutes, easy. Then that leaves you about 20, 25 minutes to get back to the car. Very simple. Oh, that's nothing, man. At least y'all ain't trying to have to figure out where the fuck the motorcycle cover comes into play. And I don't even know if that was even taken as evidence. That could have been just fucking Mark Cohen bullshit. That's another thing I can't stand. Oh, he just irks me. One, but it's like him and some other guy else who I still like, so I'm not going to mention their name in this regard. But would like slow out some bullshit theory about the case, and then I'd start going in there and analyzing that thought, and then stop and go, no, this isn't real, and then toss it away. And it's happened all the time, and I know what they were doing, but it's just dumb. Charles, I have heard all the evidence. And I would never say anything about someone like you, okay? I would rather have a conversation about why, man, how do I put it this way? More like, how do you come up with it, that he's innocent? I mean, maybe you can say that there's not enough evidence against him. Okay, I can see that's kind of, right now, all I said was I can identify Richard Allen within 2 weeks. And I do have end up with more evidence than the cops have because they lost his car brain when they didn't find the car in 90 days. Y'all forget? That car's brand with the GPS and all that other good shit would have told the cops exactly when Richard Allen was there, at what time, where he was parked, the whole 9 yards, correct? I think if we had that piece of evidence, would that change a little bit? I think so, right? But somehow they just didn't think it was important to identify that car. But Cop 101 basically says anything that you can identify, you do first. You can't identify Bridge Guy or anybody and all this other junk. There's only one object that you can identify, that car. And what you do is you make a circle in Carroll County and work your way out, locating all the cars within that 3-year range that are black. I'm not. I really want to think you're smart, but you're making my head hurt. Okay, you not understand it. Cops are trained to be detectives and all that shit, and even on the beat cops, right? You are taught to, in a crime especially that bad, you find the objects and stuff or people that you can identify 100%, right? Because the markings and the grooves and shit that are well seen in the pictures from the Hoover Harbor Store camera, there's only one car it could be, and that is a Ford Focus SE hatchback. Now, there's 3 years that make that specific angle design. Oh Lord, will you stop typing and actually listen to what I'm telling you? And no, it's just some people when I try to explain it to them, they get mad at me and they run away. No, I'm not sure who Dignity is, but I usually don't even get to the second step when people are running away. So that's just how it goes. But usually, okay, the hood, the notch or whatever that's near the wheel well, the distance space between the back bumper and the tire, and also the fin that's in a very specific spot on that roof. There is only one car that matches all those things, and that's the 2014 to 2017 Ford Focus black fucking SE hatchback. So then you start in your own county, which is also Cop 101, And you find every fucking black 2016 or 2014 to 2017, you want all of them, because that's how you do your job. And we do know that there's only one black 2016 Ford Focus SE hatchback in all of Carroll County, Rick Owens. So how many 2017s do you think there are? And how many 2015s? And maybe how many 2000? You get what I'm saying? You're not going to find a bunch of these cars that are black and this, that, and the other. But that's what, okay, now you're just coming up with theories. That doesn't make any sense. He himself said he took the black car. And that's his car. The rims have a dark black color to them. And the parts of the things, well, we can't see, no, see, that's the problem. We got to use those instructions on the rules. If there's a logical reason that a piece of evidence exists that rules in both the plaintiffs or the defendant, you have to rule that for the defense. The fact that they put him into isolation for all that long and all this other crap, sorry, he could have been nuts. We have to say it. It's true. He could have been, correct? Which means we have to rule that piece of evidence either out or for the defense. But that's why these messages, in my opinion, just a little, well, odd. Yeah, you'll see. So I am not going to make you wait long. It's like a day or two, I promise. I just got them myself last night, so trust me, I'm not being greedy. I just, it was like 4, actually this morning, and they were sent to me, and I'm like, what the hell? And yeah, it was just like weird shit. Man. No, it's okay to have different opinions, guys. We should not be attacking anybody else over different opinions, but you should be open to having a conversation about those opinions, and you should never make an opinions without looking at it from all angles. So if you enter in a case and you're already on the side or started on the side, you've done fucked up already. I know a lot of people are like, I'm pro-state, I'm this. No, I'm not, dude. I enter a case, I look at the evidence, I look at the people involved, and I start breaking the entire case down. Anybody that knows me will tell you that Charles didn't have a suspect until I heard Richard Allen's voice many, many years later. I was the one that'd be sitting around here telling everybody why this guy wouldn't it, why that guy couldn't be it, over and over and over. And I don't feel it's my opinion either. I feel like fucking Richard Allen did it. Seriously. I know, but they keep talking about it, and I'm trying to answer whatever questions that people have. That'd be rude if I didn't. Stop trying to blame me for shit, fucker. Get your ass up here and you boss people around then. She's like, no, I'm not coming up there because then I get blamed too. And then, at least this way, you're just the only guy. Yeah. Okay. But, you can't, you have to have more than just, I disagree. You got to have some sort of retort or whatever. Like, what is if the evidence doesn't say this to you, okay? Like, say, you don't think that car is, as I said, a 2014 to 2017, blah, 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 right? Then please, I've offered my evidence. I can pull up pictures and everything else and show the evidence to you. But if you're going to argue that it's not, then wouldn't that also need to provide evidence of that? No, I don't. Do you not see how toxic and shit this entire community gets? None of the other communities barely are even close to this. We're like the laughing stock of the whole damn community of true crime. Y'all want to be a joke? Because I tell you, I'm sure don't want to be a joke. Everybody thinks everybody around here is like fucking brainwashed by certain creators into believing exactly what they want you to say. And honestly, if this is just your first case and you don't think you'd work another case, hey, good. Okay, pick whatever the hell you want. You ain't got nothing to do with me. But if you expect to try to do case after case after case, you can't just like, okay, the people that thought Brian Koberger was guilty. Why did you think Brian Koberger was guilty? Just because everybody else did, or the creators you watch did, or whatever? I'm sincerely asking. because I can tell you why I thought he was guilty, but the evidence that literally pointed in that direction and stuff. This isn't entertainment, man. I guess it is, but I don't know. That bugs me. Calling it entertainment. It's like people making money up doing this. Just feel weird about it. And that's like, I don't know. It's like, did he plan to kill the girls? Fuck yeah, he planned to kill the girls too. Well, how do you say that? Because the characteristics and actions taken by the unsub bridge guy, whatever you want to call him, imply at one point he wanted his identity to remain unknown. But then at one point, when he got to a particular place, he decided he didn't care. And usually in those instances, when somebody stops caring about whether or not you can identify them, that's because they're planning to kill you. It's kind of like when somebody robs a bank and you notice they're not wearing a mask or something like that. That could be a good thing. That could be a bad thing. As long as somebody's trying to hide their face, they might not kill you. Wait on whose testimony? We're talking about Susan Kavanaugh, or are we talking about Betsy Blair? I mean, do I really got to scroll back up? Okay, what about Betsy Blair? I can tell you basically, she came out to the bridge. She saw a man that was standing on the first platform, yada yada yada, looking at the fish. I guess is what he was saying. Then he started coming back or whatever, but he doesn't look her in the eyes. Oh, the reason that her case was, or her testimony wasn't really taken too much in regard, because she didn't get a good look at his face, and she wasn't that right there. So her identification does not help the situation. And the most important thing anybody could have asked her, I don't remember hearing it at all, because I don't know how tall Betsy Blair is. I'm sure somebody could find out for me. But how come nobody said, hey, was he similar to your height? Because if she's like 5'4" to 5'6", and she's seeing him and he's about her height, that's an important question. Like, why is nobody asking you important fucking questions? Nick? That's what bugs me about this fucking case. I almost literally feel like the cops, I can kick you out of the thing, put myself in there, do it better. The lawyer, I can kick you out too, do it better. And honestly, the defensive lawyers, I could probably kick them out and do it better myself too. The Odinist theory, garbage. Utter fucking trash. I'm sorry, if you're still talking about it, no. I'm just like, no. You got what, 5 to 6 different people, and multiples of those people could actually be given alibis that day, even if maybe 1 or 2 alibis aren't the greatest. Your theory was 5 of them. You can eliminate 3 to 4 of them almost automatically, but that's somehow still not good enough for you. Get over it. It's done. There is no evidence that points to anything ritualistic being at that crime scene. All of that would have been simple teachings that he would have learned in the damn National Guard and shit. And if y'all had looked that up too, it's funny, y'all look up this ritual bullshit, but nobody looked up the fucking military training that you receive. Oh, this bugs the shit out of me. You have no idea. And then y'all have wounds. I hear people saying what's in the box cutter, right? The sticks, yes. You want to know, that's not what you should be asking for one. For one, you should be asking where the sticks came from. My first thought is, did he really go back and forth across the creek and over to get them from the Weber's garage? I don't think so, but it's a possibility, but that's just weird. Okay, now we're going to talk about the Phantom guys. Where were the Phantom guys located? One was, in the morning by the privacy fence thingy on the dead end road at a whole different time. I'm sorry, that's not the kill zone. That's not evidence. That should not matter. Unless that person, that weird guy, was around the time. And there's explanations for a lot of this shit that people just don't want to listen to. Okay, what about Elvis Fields' confession makes any sense at all? You're going to talk about Elvis Fields' fucking confession? Okay. Any of it actually true? No. If he's that close and knows all that happened, why didn't he know it was a box cutter? Why didn't he know this? Why didn't he know that? I mean, come on, guys. This is. I don't want to sound like a dick, but seriously, we already knew from game one because of false confessions. When people make them, they hold back information and shit because they want to know the details that were given, and not a damn thing Elvis Field says actually was at that crime scene. There was a branch near her head, and somebody wanted to say that was antlers. Really? That's a bit of a stretch. I don't have to explain this confession. He's fucking nuts. He's a crazy guy. Was there DNA found on the girls' heads? No. Tell me, okay, if I should have to worry about your confession, name one part of it that's actually true. Because that's what the cops do. They look at a confession and they compare it to the actual details. And if it doesn't match any of them, they throw it away. What did they do in this case? They looked at his confession, compared to, you know who has a better confession than fucking Elvis Fields? Fucking Reese Davis. He has a better confession. Why? He knew about the box cutter. I mean, I'm not saying he's confessing, but I think it was Ron Logan's or whatever confession, I think, or whatever. But he's got the box cutter that literally right there makes Elvis Fields just look stupid and pointless and obsolete because that box cutter. And we can tell it's a box cutter. And if I got to explain, guys, anybody that don't think that girls were killed by a box cutter, you make me sad. There's little bits of bruising on either side of the wounds on Libby. That is the guard from the retail box cutter slamming into. Don't make me explain it. It's obviously a fucking box cutter. I've heard that many times as well, and it takes me off because it's just like, no. Well, I mean, just because somebody spit on the ground, I mean, what's that matter? What details? I just asked you a million times. What details did Elvis have that actually coincided? Don't bring up the antlers because we're talking about. I've seen it. It's a little tiny stick. That's not fucking antlers and not horns. So if you're going to use that, no. No hunter in his right mind would ever call that a pair of antlers. That's more like a stick that was just found near her head. He said he spit on them. Okay, was there any DNA found on them that was from spit? No, there was not. There was an unidentified small amount of touch DNA. That is not spit. You're twisting the evidence to make your point, but the evidence you're talking about is not there. No. Reese Davis said that Ron Logan said that. That's hearsay. You can't use hearsay, and that's a whole nother conversation we're going to have another time. But his confession still had the box cutter. How do you explain Richard Allen's? Oh my God! Did you not see the evidence shit that's taken from his house? Did you not see that fucking the amount of box cutters and fucking knives and kind of shit? Because I myself, I collect knives too, but I like them because they look cool and they work and stuff, and for what I need them to do. He buys knives that are not the same kind of style. They're more like stuff that you can hide and use as a real fucking weapon. Did anybody not notice that either? No, they don't. Okay. There's certain box cutters you get because of a job, and certain box cutters that you buy from the store. The ones from the store are cheaper. They're usually a fold-out piece of shit. There's no guard on them. The blade comes out much farther, and this, that, and the other. We can tell the difference between a retail. I used to work at Big Lots. Okay, we used to have the same kind of box cutters. The bitches were like $40, $50 a damn box cutter. So we used to just steal them and take them home all the damn time. So that's how we got them. And I'm not even saying that's technically evidence, but hey, if somebody's going to use a box cutter in a murder, what do you think their job might entail? Because me personally, okay, and this is going to be an opinion, only an opinion. I want everybody to understand that fully. I think the evidence points a specific event happening, but nobody's talking about it but me. And it's annoying. Okay? Why would you bring a box cutter as your alternate weapon when he has all those fucking knives at home, right? Wouldn't you bring from one of those fucking survival blades or something, right? Right? Like if the gun's just for control and you want to cut him and shit, right? Wouldn't you bring one of those knives? Instead, he brought a fucking box cutter with a guard on it. This is questions that people aren't asking. I already called up CVS and I already talked to them. I had a specific exact box cutter that was given to those people, and it's the same ones I used to get from Big Lots. Very expensive, full size, no flipping out or whatever, with a guard on it, and that's where she gets the booze. How about we answer the actual logical question I just asked? If you're Rick Allen and you went home to get your fucking panty back and shit with your gun and stuff, and you need an actual kill weapon because you don't plan to shoot on, well, why would you grab a box cutter? I'm getting to that. Stop trying to jump ahead, Mimi. Okay? You would grab, do you remember those knives that were in that picture? There was a lot of fucking knives, right? Some nasty fucking knives, right? A box cutter? You know what I'm saying? Come on, guys. There's just nothing wrong with it. That's weird shit. Now, this I said long before Richard Allen was found. Shh. They weren't serrated. They weren't. For one, it's very easy to break a razor blade. For two, you can buy serrated razor blades. For three, we don't know if the part that's saying is serrated isn't the part where the guard is being. Yeah. Moving on. It was always explained to you by the distance, the amount of the weapon within, by the wound, and the bruising on the outside that it was up. You shouldn't. Yeah, I'm sorry. I ain't got time for that. Okay, let's get to the actual real important stuff. If you had a real weapon you wanted to play the king of somebody with, and you had access to all that shit, right? He had like what, 40 fucking knives? Some big ass fucking. He had some shit. But he brought a box cutter from work. Does that make any sense? What I'm asking is, okay, now everybody says, why do you think that he didn't shoot him? That's my question. Most people are going to tell you that, because the gunshots would have been too loud. They would have alarmed somebody and this, that, and the other, right? Ron Logan was on his way to the highway before the girls even died. You can't explain that, and your theory's bullshit, period. Well, here's the thing. If we look at what happened to the phone, or at least logically what probably happened to the phone, which is another dumb thing that people bring up too, we'll get to that, okay? Would gunshots be a rare thing to hear out on Ron Logan's property, especially at that time of the year? And if you're going to say yes, I'm going to tell you flat out, it was still hunting season, by the way. He had a deer blind over there. As I said, once again, is it that rare to hear a couple of single fire 40 caliber shots? Would it freak anybody that out? There is a deer blind right there, so we know people hide there to shoot deer, correct? And those are high-powered rifles that are usually used for that. So what I'm asking you is, if it's hunting season, at a place we know people hunt at, with 240 caliber, I live in the ghetto. If I hear 240 cals going off, it could be next door. And I'm just like, nothing. That's not what I'm asking. I asked him, why would you use a box cutter? Basically, if he doesn't use the gun, that means he brought the box cutter as the main weapon. So, to me, that just seems like, what the fuck? You know, he had Case Double X knives, he had fucking Bowie knives, he had survival knives. I think he had a K-bar in there somewhere, maybe, I'm not sure. Tons of boot knives, all kinds of hidden blades and kinds of bullshit. Yeah, these were assassins. No, you can actually, if you actually know a thing about knives, if you're talking about what I just now said, it was, okay, you go to Google and you type in 2017, Carroll County, Indiana, when their hunting season ended, and what weapons are still legal to be used. And there's a deer blind out there, so how am I speculating? I'm asking a very simple question. Might you hear gunshots somewhere where people had to shoot guns? Obviously. I shouldn't have to ask that. I'm getting to the point here in a second. And what if the gun was supposed to be used? Maybe that's why the bullet got lost in the first place. But the problem is, I need to see every part of that fucking bullet and then some, because something ain't right about the whole thing. My thoughts are, whatever caused them to go flying across the creek, I still to this day don't think that they were supposed to go across that creek in the first place. I really don't. And I know there's no way in hell that Brad Weber interrupted that. Look at the times that we have him on the ring cam. Look at the times that the phone moved. Albeit that the phone was wet at that point, but that doesn't, once again, it doesn't make any sense that Brad Weber interrupted it. So if you want to use the confessions as a way to blame him, well, they don't make fucking sense either. Where'd Diana go? See, y'all talk about Delphi, and then she gets mad and goes on, and then I get yelled at. Because you all agree with anybody but me. You can't say, see, there's no evidence you have whatsoever that bullet was planted. You're just making shit up. How is that legal? Guys, there's other key points of the whole matter you're failing to notice. The guns, magazines. Did you not remember the distinct kinds of rounds that were in the magazines? I'm guessing not, because of everything else y'all don't remember or haven't paid attention for it. I wasn't talking about that. No, I was asking where you were, just to ask where you were, that's all. What I'm asking you is, does anybody not remember the magazines from the gun? If I say I think you killed your mom, in my opinion, that's still making a statement. If we're having a conversation, you need to actually have evidence. Everything I have is there's evidence to back it up. That's like saying, what if aliens popped in and just kidnapped the girls and took them away and then murdered them and bring them back? There's no evidence to prove that, so I can just say that's my opinion too. Am I wasting your time when I say that though? That's just as much odds and has just as much proof as what the other side said. So yeah, I can just say aliens did it. Hold on, I'm trying to read it. Yeah, there was a certain different bullets. I will admit that too, but it wasn't the blazer rounds or everything else. And that's another thing. Did you notice what was the amount of bullets that was exactly missing from the magazines compared to what bullets were found separate? There was 2 rounds missing from the total from the magazines and all the other crap. One found in that box and one found at the scene. And we have a picture of the bullet from the scene taken at a specific day. So did they know about him? Go and steal his bullet, go put it down there or whatever and hide it. And then, I'm trying to understand it. There was evidence photos. That's what I'm talking about. There was evidence photos. Like, what part of the trial were y'all watching or hearing about? All that, many things you are like, they didn't exist. Yeah, no, they did. They actually had that. Just like the DNA that people keep talking about, the touch DNA found in the victims. Apparently, if everything's correct and what I've heard, that DNA has also been eliminated too. I just wanted to see it my own self before I make that last final step. You know what I mean? So, okay, let's get back to what I was asking. He has a gun. He doesn't use it, but he could have used it. So what I'm asking is, why? Did he plan all along to use the box cutter? I mean, if you razor blades break really easy and all kinds of shit, I don't see you doing that. Anybody, honestly. But that means what I thought was like, okay, common sense and actually fits with the evidence is the gun misfired. Certain models of the PT-26 and everything else, when dirty or whatever, all kinds of different shit, will actually fucking misfire quite easily. This is also a known fact that you can look up. And we do know by the phone and what happened to the phone, which I don't, if anybody says what I think they're going to say, I'm going to make you look foolish. So just don't. We know what happened to the phone. So let's say that same stuff happened to the gun. Maybe he dropped it when he was chasing the girl, got it back up. It's got mud and the water in it, not the gun misfires. Then he has to pull out the box cutter, yada, yada, yada. I agree. I can't wait for the transcripts. But like I said, there's only certain things I even worry about when it comes to the transcript. I don't really worry about it or whatever. It's like, I remember how everybody was describing them, and most of the people weren't even at the case that, was making a big deal out of it. But what I'm asking is, see, a misfire would produce an unspent round, right? Now, this would not be your normal unspent round either. This would actually be a bullet that could be, maybe a fairy took it. What are you talking about? Nobody took what? You don't understand, obviously, because, I don't know, weapons and all this other stuff. What killers like, they prefer a specific method. He wasn't planning to get covered in blood in this and that and the other. It makes more sense that he just wanted to shoot him. And then we got other people that tell me that the profile doesn't match what you're knowing. And I always ask them the same question: whose profile are you talking about? And I hope you're not talking about John Douglas, because he didn't profile the Delphi murders because he couldn't have. What he did profile was Tony Klein to the T. So when he's sitting there telling you that it's a guy that likes to do this and like to do that, no, he's just telling you what Tony Klein does. I know how to make a profile, and half of it, there's no way he could have done, but the case being like it was. Period. So, I mean, I'd love to know where these profiles come from and whatnot, because if you haven't seen the crime scene, the victims, and the whole 9 yards, and you have the bit of training behavioral wise or whatnot, then no, you cannot make that profile. And if you had, I would love to hear how you did. Very simple. I'm not trying to put anybody down or anything like that, but that's one of the things that I was going to end up doing. Me at some point, I was going to do it with Coach Kev, which is weird. I don't even know if you can actually profile. But yeah, I was going to teach everybody in the whole damn community how to actually do their own profiling. But it's going to be really fucked up because you're going to do a bunch of things that's really hard and nearly impossible, or you just probably won't want to do. Do I need to remind y'all? There was nothing ritual at that crime scene, and all was basic information and training of the National Guard that Richard Allen. Military is taught specific. Has anybody here military? I'm guessing not. Or former military. Now, see, when you're in a combat situation, right, they tell you to not only hide the bodies and rivets and all kinds of other stuff because, when you look at the area where the bodies were found, you realize you're not even looking at where the bodies were actually found, right? At all. It was a long-term fallacy. That's not where the actual bodies were found. It wasn't until damn near the end of the trial, if not after the trial, that the exact spot was actually shown. Oh, mine's on March 3rd. So, yay. But, what kind of person does what kind of job that normally would always have to make sure they have a box cutter with them? And yes, there's a few of them, so I'm not going to point in any direction. But all those jobs combined, can you link anybody else that's a suspect to any of them? Is the question I'd like to know. You got a retail worker, a carpet layer. Who else? Um, there's a few jobs, but you know what they don't check against the ordinance. None of them do that job. None of the ordinance had a job where a box cutter is a main. Now, I remember going to work all the damn time, and we just got used to ritualistically having a box cutter in our pocket. That's true, but most of them will go for the cheapest ones. As I repeated over and over again, I have talked to CBS, which I guess nobody else has done. I've gone down there, which they all here have heard about Richard Allen and they're not happy about it. And I have actually and I've showed this to you, literally the actual box cutter. Richard Allen was a freight manager, FYI. So no matter which section he was working in, his job mainly was to stock shit. Once again, if you can contact CBS, you'd know that. Why do you think they actually gave him that prescription, whatever that license thingy? You have to have that by law to run the register in the pharmacy. He's basically just a shift leader that stocks shit. Well, I'm sorry. It's just if I just started making up stuff and I had no proof of it, wouldn't you also be like, hey, okay, now you're being an asshole, Charles, this, that, and the other, right? So it's like, how about we only use stuff that we know we can prove? That's all. We know everybody thinks that. Anybody that thinks he's innocent always thinks that the bullet's planted. Okay, does that mean the bullet where the girls were found was planted too? Because we have a picture of that. Now, was it just a bullet that was found in this box? Or was there anything else that kind of could be linked to the crime and or the weapon? So would it be a weird thing to see the weapon in the same box with an unspent round just in the box too? Like maybe you're the ones that want to talk about this, okay? I'm bringing actual logic, and that's what you don't like, and you're just getting at. Then talk about a different case. Because until any of y'all can come anywhere near the godforsaken amount of time that I've spent on true crime alone, yeah, I'm going to use the most expensive the experience I know. I can't just make shit up. What interview? Richard Allen? No, I'm saying let's not waste time with saying the same bullshit over and over again. Everything I'm saying, if there wasn't evidence for it, I had to go find it myself. Why am I the only one that I needed to prove that he could be the guy on the bridge? So what happened? I went out there and fucking used math and shit to do it. It's like nobody wants, you can prove if something is a good enough thought, you can find a way to kind of prove it. Not, what evidence? Bridge guy's height. I was the one that did that. And it's been checked multiple times by people that actually know how to do that shit. Problem is, none of y'all know that kind of math. It's really annoying. And y'all talk a lot of shit in the process. I know you're just joking. But it's like, it's not my fault you don't know how to do stuff. That's all I'm saying. And if somebody understood trigonometry, yeah, you can go through the whole situation and all that. And then everybody talks about the Steve guy, and I think I already dismantled him in part. Why? Because he didn't even factor in the angle or the curvature of the Earth or the inclination. Which, if you know trigonometry, that would probably make you giggle because he just looks like a fucking idiot. Why wasn't he identified in court? Once again, there's a million different. Okay, why wasn't Bridge Guy and Richard Allen seen at the same time? If you're going to ask a question like that, I can bring up the same things that the state uses on their side. Well, how come they're not seen at the same time? Because they're the same person, right? Y'all were trying to find evidence when it wasn't the trial going on. I didn't hang out in certain areas or whatever because both sides were fucking boomers. Hell, I got kicked out of them all. And then when I tried to talk to them, I mean, what are we doing? Everybody wants to watch stuff on this case, but nobody seems to actually want to prove what the hell happened. I'm not trying to sound rude. It's just like, I'm sorry. How many other people are dead, getting killed, and all kinds of other stuff that we could be working on instead? Isn't their lives matter too? Why is it just these two girls? No, nobody ever wants to work on Flora. Nobody ever wants to work on this or that. Or what's that girl that got killed that might have overeat or wherever near Frost's house? Lauren Spear. You know, all these cases, nobody cares. But everybody just wants to talk about. I mean, it's not even that good of a case, dog. I got better ones, much better ones. Oh man, like with badass stories to them. Man, we could be talking about Israel Keys, but we always on fucking Delphi. Delphi. No, you can't say the killer's still out there. You wanna know why? Because nobody else got killed. So right now, as far as the evidence and they're picking who got charged and who's been convicted, seems to be true because we have no more victims. So right now, the state's winning on that. If you can find a victim that somewhat similarly has injuries and all that pertain to the same ones the girls did, then you'd have that would be a cause for him to actually get out of jail. You know that, right? But the killer, who's now had somebody gone down as his patsy, he's just not going to kill anymore. No, I'd go out and kill somebody, probably change the way I did it and stuff like that, and be happy again. You know, but do we know that hasn't happened? Nobody else has died. And that's simple enough. It's a kind of a bit of evidence to me. Diana, why are you hiding that? I probably already asked this, but I'm annoying. So. No, I believe everybody should be given the rights and all this other shit, okay? But like people like John Wayne Gacy, it's like, Gacy got fucked over, right? The cops lied to get the warrant to get into the house to get to the bodies. So technically, by law, he's innocent. Would you have let him out too? And if you say yes, I'm sorry. No. It's like if there was what's the technicality, and Brian Koberger was let out or going to be, would you not have a problem with that? Because technically means that he didn't do it, right? So what I'm asking is, why is this one guy so important, but the other ones aren't? Because nobody cared about the rights. Brian Kober, I mean, some people do, but nobody cared about the rights of John Wayne Gacy or the rights of Ted Bundy or the rights of Jeffrey Dahmer. Nobody cared about them because they were obviously guilty. But why this time? I'm assessing. Yes, I agree, Dieter. We're stuck in the same damn shit because people just don't want to let it go until we find out more that happens for the appeals and stuff, when we could all be doing other cases. And I'm sorry if y'all don't think that we actually do anything in regards to these cases. I mean, at least three of the ones I worked last, I figured out something nobody else knew, or damn near didn't know, or just the police knew. So we can actually do stuff here. You got to actually try, but yeah, we can accomplish just as much as the police does. I already did that in the Idaho case, Missy Beaver's case, and well, that was just remembering something. But and the I already said Idaho and Delphi, because as I said, if you know how to do the math, you're going to come up with a pretty damn close number to mine. Is what his height and all that is, and the other measurements too. Meaning, yeah, they didn't pay the 10 grand, so I came up with something. And yeah, I was broke, and all kinds of other people were on the traders channels telling everybody how to do the math, my math. So if these are people that understand the math and stuff like that, and all sides are using it, is that a fair logical assumption to say that I guess my shit's good? In the exact words of Osbrook, it was, it's not really that hard even. It was hard that it did not get done in over 5 years. And I think only a handful of people have done it since. I mean, there's a gun thing that you can recreate that actual scene and know where her camera was pointed at, as in where how high she had the camera, which you can figure out too. You can, yeah, you can figure out just by using this little tool how tall the bridge guy was. And of course, if it was, Greeno that said it, I'm still going to think he's probably just trying to grab somebody, but it's Greeno. Come on, you automatically should assume that he's trying to grab somebody. What? Why did everybody get fired? Who got fired? See, he made some weird comments, and I'm like, what's speaking this? What was the correct case? Don't make me scroll back up, damn it. And don't argue. Or just argue with me. Okay, there's things. Okay, Walla overstepped her professional fucking rules of whatever, breach of ethics or whatever the fuck you want to call it. Simple as that. I'm now hearing people asking if fucking Diana's fucking Walla. I'm not even joking. I'm seriously, huh? Hold on, I'm trying to read it. Does anybody want to come up here? I can put a link. I mean, I know Shibi's not going to come up here. He's a little bitch. Oh, no, I'm just joking. Hold on. I had dog policy was 30 days. Solitary is contrary. Wait, solitary. No, I actually agree with that. What part did you not? See, come on, you guys, pay attention. I already said the confessions, all that shit shouldn't have been allowed in because he was being basically held in isolation. If that's what you're talking about, I agree with you on that. You'll argue with me, but I agree with you on that. But the problem is, I can get him and make him a person of interest with all of the shit removed. All of it. It's very simple. It's very fucking simple. And I could sit here and make a video and walk you through step by step, and y'all still wouldn't believe me. And I'd be like, it still looks like a Suzuki, Charles. Then get the Suzuki, pull it down here, look at a picture. We'll compare and see if there's any possible chance that court, and it still wouldn't matter. You don't want the actual answer. That's how I feel. You don't want the answer. I believe you would make an excuse if Richard Allen came out tomorrow and confessed again. Would you not? If Richard Allen came out tomorrow and said, I killed the girls and did this, that, and the other, and told you every fucking detail about that crime that we never knew, would you believe him? Or would you think he got coerced to do this and that? What other topics? They're the one that. No, I know over 200,000 cases, but they won't talk about them. And if I'm just supposed to sit here and talk about a case just by myself, to myself, and everything else, and they're just supposed to just follow along, they're not children. I hate to be the one to tell you everybody in prison's fucking drugged. If you were in prison, you want to be drugged too. No, I mean, okay, what cases do y'all know? Because it's going to be weird to just bust out some shit you don't know. Or I can just talk about Israel Keys or whatever, but that's kind of something maybe actually do the work for, have the actual stuff to show and all this other crap, and not just be spouting out my ass sitting here in front of a laptop. Say a case. That's what you're going to do. I don't know how to do a poll. I just asked anybody for a case. Chickpeas. Dude, she is the best fucking. Well, I know that's not what you're talking about or whatever, but you said chickpea, so that I have to talk about it. She's the best fucking researcher that's I've seen so far in true crime. I just asked. They didn't answer. I literally said, what case do you want to talk about? Do you see a case being mentioned? No. But yeah, actually, when we do the Florida Live or whatever, I got the Curious Chickpea or whatever to do all the research and shit, and some specialists out of Florida and all kinds of other crazy shit. You know who Chickpea is? Chickpea is awesome. Diana, we're really already. I mean, it sounded like we were about to start talking about something, and then you're just fucking it up. Brian, what? What are you talking about? Let's see, and then we got the little bitch coming in here talking shit and telling me to shut up. Who is? Oh, you mean Brian Walsh? Why would I talk about that? I guess. I thought they already heard that from me before. Okay, does everybody know who Brian Walsh is? See, now everybody's telling me to shut up. And I agree with Charles that y'all should actually get some education when it comes to these crimes. But hey, I guess we get what we get, right? I asked them. They're just ignoring me, but whatever. Same way. Who is it? Another Brian Walsh? Okay, I don't know who the fuck that is, dude. Because Brian Walsh, I know to talk about is from Florida. And yeah, I've heard. Okay, I've heard two different things. I've heard the FBI is indeed a small unit of it is in Florida. I have not heard distinctly yet that it's there for specific reasons. But now I gotta wait to do Florida Live because the FBI has been fucking spotted in Florida. It's like right when I literally wanted to do it, the fucking FBI went and fucked it up. Just saying. No, you don't have to. Yeah, don't try to be like that. It's just like I hate Delphi at this point. I really fucking do. I've been on that case for like 9 years. It's like all in my head, and but who's the second Brian Walsh show? Now you got me interested. What part? Huh? Or we could talk about the Boomtown murders. We could talk about Israel Keys. We can talk about Larry and Gary fucking Hall. Oh my God, Herb Baumeister. I'm like a walking dictionary when it comes to serial killers, guys. Anything, John Benet Ramsey, Madeline McCann. What is your addiction to just fucking that one? I'm saying. Or you pick some weird case that just basically don't care to even look into. Because it's like, I don't know, the Kate Reed or whatever case. I don't know. It seems like at worst it's just a drunk chick that fucking accidentally ran over her boyfriend. And it's bullshit. what the defense said. And if you don't think so, I'm sorry. You look silly. That's all. I'm not trying to be rude, but you just look silly. Like the dog bit him here, the dog did this, the dog did that. Half of those fights, you don't even have the bottom jaw in the sequence. Did a dog with fucked up mouth and no lower jaw bag the guy? Okay, and if it did happen that way, there's two magical things missing. Dog DNA, which is, I'm going to tell you, when they leave fucking DNA all over. And then somebody will tell me, but there was pig ear DNA. So, yeah, the pig ear DNA was found, but dog saliva wasn't found. That's just and they're pretty good sized punctures, so it's not like you can get in there and just very quickly get every. I'm not gonna. No. How have I even lashed out at anybody? All I've sit there and done is try to have a conversation with you and see when people go ahead and take off. I haven't been. Compared to what I've said so far and what I've seen in that chat, anybody that thinks I'm lashing out or whatever should look at the hell what you guys are actually writing. I think I've been pretty damn well controlled. Ask whatever you want. I haven't lashed out yet, and if you think I have, you really don't know who the hell I am. Oh, no, I'm just not allowed to have an opinion or anything, that other stuff. That's just how it goes. But please ask the question. I will not lash out or whatever. What do you mean I'm not reading? Oh, she wants me to. No, she just said she didn't after that. See, it says no, 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 LOL. I know you're trying to be funny, and I get that. It's like being tortured with a whole bunch of blondes. I don't think I should have to be complimentary. I've been told in the chat to shut the fuck up and all kinds of other shit. Why should I be nice? And I'm not even being me. This, Dieter, you haven't been here that long. This is how I normally talk. I'm from the ghetto. I'm not the best speaker. I mean, and it's always Delphi. And it's always Delphi. And then an argument happens, and no, it's usually not me that starts it. It usually happens in the chat involving people. No, we're not allowed to talk about anything else. She just said no, 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 LOL. So that means she accidentally said that, wasn't planning on it. And if anybody had been offering something with actual evidence, I can go through y'all's case part of Delphi and pull out all kinds of shit that you'll just don't pay attention to. I used to sit in chats all the time with each side and play around for each side. I guess you didn't know that, did you? I would go on the crank side and pretend to be a crank. But that's not what I say. I literally, everything I say, there's actual evidence for it. If my opinion was the same as yours, there would not be a fucking problem. Simple as that. If I thought the same thing you did, there wouldn't be a problem. Now I'm sitting here in a group by myself with everybody else basically believing what they want to believe, and they're able to have that right. But the only one that still gets banned for it and everything else and all the chats and all that stuff, guess who? It's me. So who's the one that's doing the messed up shit here? Okay, I'm not calm now. I'm not allowed where I usually went before this because I fucked them all up because they ran their mouths. So I'm here instead, and I think I've been pretty damn cordial just because I don't be a dick to people just because you all have different opinions. But I do think that everybody is pretty much being a dick to me because I do have a different opinion. I still get banned on the lives just for having a logical idea that evidence points to. And when everybody else is talking about the weird conspiracy theories, I just say, hey, what about this logical reason that could also happen? No, Charles gets banned. Did you get banned for having your ideas, people? How about that? No, I want actual. I'm sorry. Other than trial, none of y'all can't notice what the fuck I'm talking about. Was your family or your never mind. I'm sorry, this is not a game to me. It never was. But you got about 20 plus fucking loved ones sitting in fucking the ground because of other people that haven't been arrested or this is not a game to me. I do this because I actually want to try to figure something out. It's not it may be a hobby, but it might as well be an addiction. And I'm not expecting y'all to have that. All I was saying is like, look, I understand that. I just said, hey, let's try to lean towards something that has a little bit of evidence. But then I live with an asshole. And then I have to sit here and talk like this, and it seems like I'm being an asshole. And then, I just don't look like an asshole. Or I look upset, but I'm not upset either. Wait to see what again a lot of these says. I've literally I'm charging my stupid AirPod, whatever the fuck they call them things. I have a Bluetooth headset. I'm no longer on the one thing anymore. It's like every time I try to do something, well, no, right now, yeah, I'm fucking annoyed, and everybody's having a good time and all this other stuff, fucking with me. And I could just easily do that with all y'all. I mean, you see me fucking rip apart massive ass groups and just do it for fun. It wouldn't feel really nice if I did it to y'all, though, would it? But I'm not trying to be a dick. It's like just saying, and really, it doesn't bother me that much. It's just, yeah. Even if I was in my own side and people were talking to me that way, I'd say you're fucking stupid, and here's why. Now shut up and go stand in the corner until I tell you can come back out. And that's why I get kicked out of those places. I'm an asshole, but I'm really trying really hard not to be an asshole as much as possibly can. Do I have something yeah, I just told you about it. They refused to pay $10,000 for the fucking measurements. This is what I mean. Nobody's fucking listening to me. Or when you do listen, you're just like, oh, it's no big deal. How would you know? You don't understand the subject that I'm asking. I've done nothing but listen to what you guys have had to say. And I'm sorry you have been in here less either. So it means it's less your fault, but these guys just do the same time every time we go to a live. It's the same things over and over and over again. No, I hate doing this shit by myself, and fucking yeah, I hate being criticized with people that aren't helping. Period. It's not hard for me to follow this because I mean I'm just looking at it. It's really small at the moment in time, so I got to get really close. And honestly, I'm not feeling good. Just never mind. Anybody who's willing to say whatever they want, they don't have to come up here and they can type it or whatnot. More than happy to answer it. So yeah, well, I mean, I would be here earlier, but yeah, every time I try to start one of these one by myself, everybody's always asking where Diana is, and so I usually just wait till she's up for work to do it. And plus, it's like people label me like some pro state bullshit or whatever just because that's one case. And then they're like, oh, but you thought Koberger was guilty? No, because he's fucking guilty. Anybody that didn't think he's guilty, I'm sorry, you need to at least get your head checked. Just saying. I could sit there and take Idaho. I've done it multiple times and just prove from A to B to Z and all the way back to A by what happened, everything, the entire crime of Idaho. No, y'all don't try. Even the creators, y'all majority only go to are all Delphi creators. That's not true. I go to Oblivious Benson, who does literally all cases. I go to Criminality, who once again does a whole bunch of different cases. The creators I go to are sufficiently different. I mean, I go and hang out with people like in Props Chat and all that to hang out with y'all, and I tend to just want to stay away from Delphi. It's become very toxic and very rude, and there's a bunch of fucking assholes in it. And I call them yellow assholes or whatever, but there's just a bunch of toxic people. And yeah, I've been at war with them. They attacked me, and that was kind of comical in its own way, but yeah. And then, but anytime I would talk about Idaho or whatever, it just doesn't seem like anybody. It's just Delphi. It's like it's like these guys is crack. I swear to God, the more you hear, the more you'll see it. It's their fucking cocaine or whatever it is. We can talk about what was that? I can't remember who that new person that showed up the other night was. And she started talking about this weird case or whatever. And then I'm like, guys, she's obviously trying to trick you back right back to fucking Delphi. And Diana's sitting there like, no, no, it's a case we haven't heard, and blah, blah, blah. And she types the lady's name into the damn search bar, and auto search is showing you the next logical things. And right after the lady's typed in, it says Delphi, Indiana. I'm like, I didn't even know the case. I don't even remember hearing about the case or whatever it was. And I just somehow knew it was going to end up right back in Delphi. I mean, hell, at 15 years old, I basically got propositioned by a fucking serial killer, an actual serial killer, who's got like 32 bodies to his name, one conviction, constantly trying to get out, that knows what I look like, and all kinds of other stuff. What's up? Yeah, and Trial Junkie, she had to deal with the same kind of bullshit too. Nobody ever wants to hear about that. Oh Lord, I don't know. Don't bring him up. I'm gonna make fun of him. Don't bring him up. Please don't. Everybody loves him so much, but he's so retarded. Don't bring him up. Yeah, honey and berries. Wait, honey and Barry Sherman. Who the fuck is that? Oh, were you talking about the double homicide or whatever? But wasn't that in a different Carroll County? I don't even think that's the same one I'm thinking of. When is this? Where is it? And when is it? I mean, you might have to give me a date or whatever because I don't know how I'll chase it. I got like 250,000 of them, so it's pretty easy to find some. But yeah. Apotex. What is that? My story. When did it take too long? Uh, uh, but what, what is Apotex? And why did he give a shout out to Angela? I'm so lost. I don't know who Apotex is either. Okay, what about him? No, I'm really wondering. I just don't understand what you're talking about. That probably explains why she hasn't emailed me back yet. Oh, okay. Hey, did y'all know there was a creepy ass fucking set of murders? Oh, this ain't the same one, I hope, right? Like, y'all ever heard of the billionaire murders? Is Anne's next to I'm so lost. I, I, oh, so you are you talking about the billionaire murders or whatever? Oh, of course, because you watched fucking yeah, you watched that shit that I do, so of course you know about it. They never caught anybody for that, right? It's still unsolved, I think. Or did they try to blame it like a murder suicide kind of thing? That fucking shit was weird, dude. These billionaires were found in the bottom basement, weird looking pool thing, and they were like tied up to this pole. It's very hard to explain. It's been a while since. Yeah, Rotten Mango. That's what it was. We both thought it on Rotten Mango. You live where? Okay, where I live. Oh, okay. Where do you live at? I'm not trying to dox you or anything like that. Are you talking about just Indiana? I guess. Oh, with the billionaires. Oh, is that the case? Oh shit! See, okay, we found our way. Okay, now we're talking, homie. Now we see. Okay, I suck with names. Yes, yes. I was gonna say it's like in Canada. It's on Rotten Mango. I watched that shit. Yeah, no, no, that was fucked up. Somebody got arrested. Cause that shit was weird, dude. Now see where I live at. Oh, I mean, let me just say that's like saying I know about a murder that's like in one part of the country because I live in North America. No, I'm just joking. But no, I mean, literally, when I was like, "Hey, this shit happened at my house or at my yard or whatever," okay, I can just go through the list right off the bat. And be like, the last notorious murder or murders that occurred in my county here in Florida. Oh, that would be Wayne Wilson, the Deadpool killer. Killed two women, tried to kill a third. Yes, Lee County, Florida. You can verify that. Before that, there was a gentleman by the name of Jeffrey Zeiler who committed a double homicide back in 1990. I was almost on the jury for that case, by the way. They gave out the questionnaires and shit like they did with Delphi. Jump away from that. I just said like it, okay? Because Court TV was there, and it's all on. Actually, oh shit! Hey, you want to see some cool shit? Unless you want to keep talking about the billionaire people. I mean, I didn't see anything after that. That's what I was waiting to see. Because right now, y'all have more information than I do, so I thought you were going to keep talking about it. Aw. So what's the big deal? Like, hold on. Okay. Was there an update? Something? Anything? Or are they just cock teasing me? Are you don't fucking cock tease. That's not nice. I actually, okay. Those two, it's interesting because it's clear they were highly wealthy. It was no, I agree. It was fucking weird as fuck. There's so much about the fucking crime that doesn't make sense. But who do we know that actually has fucking motive and all that other crap? I really need. There's a piece missing. There's something there that we don't know that probably was removed from the scene or something like that that points us in the direction of the information and intel that. Why would his brother do it? I'm really honest. I'm not trying to be rude. I'm like, because I'm still trying to remember the case as I go along. So as you say, part to bit, I'll start remembering it and all this other stuff. It's just that was like a one-off kind of thing, and yeah, it was. I don't know why I somehow thought of it, even though, yeah, that was weird. Wasn't his brother? Fuck. But here's the thing, okay? The way they were found, the way they probably died, and all that stuff, it just don't make no sense. Like most people, you think it's going to be some sort of financial situation or something like that. That's why he's taking them out and stuff. That would be understandable. But you don't have to go through all that shit and hang them from the pole and do all that. Don't make any sense to me. Well, yeah, okay, that does make a motive. I will agree with that. But then why the whole freaky shit out by the pool, dude? No, it definitely does. I agree with you there. Okay, money is always a good motive. Money, sex, jealousy, all kinds of that shit are very, very awesome fucking motives. But the way that the pool's set up, why? Go ahead. I never said nobody. Why would I not want anybody to pee? You know, act like I just understand cases or think I know. Hell no, dude. Too much work. Too much work. Go for it. You could probably tell me, but yeah. Yeah, I'm still waiting on it, Gator. Hey, Diana, has it been a quiet day for you? It's been pretty kind of quiet for me. Like, too quiet. I don't like it. Something's really going on. You would think that, like, because of all the stuff I announced, that I'm just waiting for Gator to make a response because I thought she'd be typing a bunch of shit out and stuff. It's been too quiet, dude. You didn't notice that? It's just been too quiet. It's weird. Not you. Yes, we know you're loud, but that's not why I'm saying it's too quiet. Like, the emails and stuff, I didn't get any of it today, or other stuff, or the losers that are irrelevant and they have to use me for content. Oh yeah, I said it. I didn't hear anything about that, but I mean all kinds of announcements during the morning and last night and all this other stuff. Okay, I was at the pool. They were comfortable. He had a nephew, or a nephew was chasing with that. They were easy to take out because his father was a friendly guy. But why? Yeah, but like that? I mean, I'm trying to remember exactly what they were found, but like they were tied up like puppets and shit and fucking strangled against that fucking pole. That would have been a very. What was the cause of death? Asphyxiation or whatever? Or drowning? Or what was it? I mean, I don't know. It's something like that. I mean, we could probably. Since I do lives every day, anyways. And yeah, we're gonna have to start doing a little bit earlier, but you are gonna have to put up with me until finally Miss Queen decides to show up if she's gonna show up, of course. Yeah, I talk shit to you. But okay, uh well yeah, of course. I mean, I don't like my dad. I shoot that motherfucker because he has the inheritance, What did I talk about losers? Oh, Carol, I thought we had rules here. The only rule that you had was if you were going to insult yourself, to not insult yourself worse than what I would have insulted you as. And I think you just did that because you just compared yourself to the losers that I was talking about. I don't, that's beyond the level of I would have insulted her. She's broken the rules. But yeah, I mean, it's just so weird. I mean, I gotta look back into it and think about it and all that stuff. But it's just so fucking weird. It's a pool. It's in a basement. There's nobody there. They could just drown the motherfuckers and make it look like a drowning, right? Like maybe they drank too much, or maybe did this, or maybe did that. Stuff some carbon monoxide into the room or whatever, and blame that. There's 1,000 ways to make that look clean and legit, but they didn't want to do any of that. There's a lot of, I'm not disagreeing with you, by the way, when I say that. I mean, there's a lot of dicks in this world, but and assholes and whores. But I don't know. I mean, I have to, because I know Rotten Mango, she does good work and shit like that, but I think I need to go through the whole actual case thing myself and not watch a thing on it because I can't. I always try to tell people if you are trying to be involved in a case or something like that, you need to do all the work yourself. Sure, it's okay to watch a creator and this, and that, and the other, but do not take their fucking word for it. You need to go back through there and make that actual look through the evidence to find these details because for all you know, they're just making up some shit to fuck with you or to get money off you or something like that. I never have to worry about it because I will never ask for fucking money on you. Okay, I will ask for money if it's for like, people like Heather or somebody else, like for charity. The two of them would have been issue and religion. Well, I mean, if you have an idea that you're going to kill them anyways, right? And these dudes and shit have all this fucking money, wouldn't it just be easier to just have a couple of people ready to go in case the negotiations fail? I would have done that. Just thinking out loud. I'm not saying it's impossible either way because in that instance, either way is fine. So, and I don't think if that's the case that he did that murder himself. The murders are himself. No, it just seems weird. With the whole the tagging of the things and all this other junk. Where is that annoying little midget ass? Hold on, you need to send a link to an annoying little midget ass. Can somebody post a link for this thing from the watcher's point of view? Like from YouTube's thing or whatever? Okay, text. Probably just saying it bugging me. Oh. Oh, gotcha. Something above my. See, and I'm not trying to change the subject or anything like that. This is just a case. I honestly believe the evidence is there. The cops were fucking wrong, big time. And I think Diana started bringing it up. I'm not sure if she got the name wrong, mixed it up with whatever. But I'd like to talk about this case because I do believe it's bullshit. Let me see. Okay, no YouTube. I'll just text you. She's getting bitchier the closer it gets to the time. Where you at? Fucking annoying redhead. Oh, okay. Now I'm going right back to the thing to explain. Because I hope, even though that some of you are from Canada, nothing. I was texting Mandy to see where the hell she was at. That's all. I mean, what's the day today? Hold up. You. I mean, that thing that we're not allowed to talk about, that could happen at any time, couldn't it? Hypothetically. I wasn't talking about you, you fucking crackhead. I said Mandy. Wednesday is 796. Or 7. Yeah, it's supposed to be like the 15th. But I know for a fact since I have 16 nieces. Shut up, Charles. You talk too much. My bad. I know for a fact that the kinds of stuff. I know that, but it's not like it. Are you telling me that these things are always on time all the time? Because I'm going to say no, that's not true at all. And I do know that she was being a pain in the ass earlier and very just yelling about all kinds of different stuff. And if you run around throwing an effort, giving me an attitude and all kinds of other things, and getting angry about stuff, I have a text message already. Let me guess. No? Oh, this is a person. I don't know. Yeah, the last I heard from her is that she was going to go lay down and shit. And let her phone charge or whatever else. All right. Getting back on the subject. Yeah, she didn't seem like she was very pleased with the world today. So, and usually when you're applied pressure and all this other shit's firing you off and all that stuff, the date can change and everything else. Hypothetically speaking. Is anybody even left in here? Okay. Is the theater still here or whatever? Has anybody ever heard or seen the TV show America's Most Wanted? I heard from her basically all the time. So yeah, but not in the last little bit. So yeah. When was the last time I heard from her? I think it was like almost midnight. Yeah, about midnight. But hey, Carol, this is important too to know. As I was saying, has everybody watched the show, heard about the show, or understand what the show is? America's Most Wanted. It's a show they were looking for to solve mysteries and to unsolve murders and villains that were on the run and all this other crap. Ran by a man by the name of John Walsh. And everybody loves John Walsh. Personally, I think he's loved a little bit too much. And I think there's something weird about that, but that's just me. All right. Does everybody know the story of why John Walsh somehow got involved with stuff like America's Most Wanted and stuff? I mean, I haven't watched it either because, but it's like stuck in my brain. Well, see, the why he was doing this in the first place was his wife and his son, John Walsh, his son, damn it, I forgot the name. I really forgot her name. She had a weird name, but Brian Walsh. Was it Brian? Pretty sure it's Brian. Well, they went to a holiday mall in Hollywood, Florida. Basically, it's a Sears and kind of little strip mall kind of place or whatever. And do you want me to go through the actual events that occurred beforehand, or just everybody just kind of know what I'm talking about at this point, right? Well, for one reason or another, she leaves Brian Walsh at the part of Sears where the little kids get to try the demonstrations and shit for their video games, the new ones. Yeah. And by the kids getting into a bit of a ruckus, not including Adam Walsh. That's what it is. I fucked it all up. See, I suck the names. Adam was actually mistaken as being a member of this group of kids that were getting into some ruckus. They were all taken outside and basically left there by the security guard because he assumed that Adam was with them. Now, his mom was looking for a lamp inside, and when she came back to look for him, she could not find him. And thus, they found out he was missing. At some point, found his head, and his body was never found. And what should I start with? Basically, a man, and I'm going to tell you more about the evidence in a second because I don't think the evidence points anywhere near the first guy, so I don't like to include it yet. Otis Toole, the ugliest motherfucker you've ever seen. I don't know, actually. Henry Lee Lucas are like the ugliest motherfucker. Okay, the two ugliest motherfucking serial killers you've ever seen in our lives were gay with each other. Otis Toole and Henry Lee Lucas. They were called the confession killers because if you gave them a pack of cigarettes or a milkshake, they would confess to whatever murder you wanted them to confess to. Albeit that don't make them innocent, FYI, because it was actually proven that at least 7 to 11 different victims or more were in fact killed by each of them. So we don't have to worry about that. Well, Otis Toole is the more the gayer of the two, basically. I think Henry just didn't care what got him off. It's real simple about that. Well, here is the problem. Otis Toole's car and all that shit is spotted in Hollywood, Florida, near the fucking mall, right around that time. And later on, of course, during all those confessions and shit, he in fact does multiple times confess, retract, confess, retract, confess, retract. The problem was, once again, like certain other events and cases or whatever, we have no facts in what he says. Yeah, he said he killed the boy because the boy wouldn't shut up. But it doesn't check out. There's just no evidence of what he's claiming. And then he cut the boy's head off in the car and then drove around with the kid's head for a while and then threw it out on overpass thing, which is basically kind of where they found the head. The biggest piece of evidence, other than the confession that was basically crap and that they'd gotten so good, even though they were borderline RETARDED, if you get what I'm saying, they were still smart enough to look at these crime scene photos and they nitpick little thoughts out of them that they could use to convince these cops that they might be telling the truth. Not just the cops were trying to make a career off these two idiots, that's about it. And yes, Otis Toole eventually would end up being blamed, and I think it was 2011 or 2012. They had a press conference. This is long after Otis Toole had already been dead. They claimed that even though they lost the car, they lost all the evidence, they lost all that, just about fucking everything they could find. But even though she was dead, that Otis Toole was most likely the person that killed Adam Walsh. Wrong. Because, like I said, if your only piece of evidence is his words and they don't match, that's not evidence. The other piece of evidence that was claimed to be there was a pool of blood in the seat of the car that had a child's face print in it. I'm sorry, that's bullshit. In my opinion, that's just bullshit. I think there was a big pool of blood in that car like that. They wouldn't just fucking lose it, you know? If I see a car that matches my blood, I'm like, I think I need to hold on to you for a little bit, sir, just in case. It'll make me feel better. Right? Yeah, but how about a strawberry milkshake made back in the 70s? I bet that shit was good as fuck. I don't even like strawberry. Well, as I'm saying, okay. But what if I told you there wasn't just one serial killer in the area that day? There was two. What if I told you that 9 separate witnesses all damn near had the sketch artist draw the same guy as who they swore up and down picked up that little boy and tossed him inside of a blue van? By the way, Otis Toole had no access and was never seen in a blue van. He had a little freaking four-wheel car. So, right that, if the witnesses are correct, we got a problem. And then we have the sketches of the actual suspect. They look nothing. I'm going to show you very soon, but they look nothing like Otis Toole. But they do look like the second serial killer. Well, at the first, they didn't know he was there, but they kept visiting him, and he's like, no, I didn't kill him, and they just leave him and leave. And then they come back. They came and asked him 7 times, 7 fucking times, "Are you sure?" And he's like, "I told you about the ones I ate. I told you about the ones I fucked. And I told you about everything I did. If I did this, wouldn't I just tell you?" No, I don't think so. Why? Because there's a difference between killing a 14 or 15-year-old boy and killing a 5 or 6-year-old boy. And the prisoners might just take that the wrong way, if you ask me. Right? So that'd be a reason you don't want to fucking do that. I get that. That makes more sense. But as I said, the sketch that 9 people came up with, including the security guard, there's a known picture of the sketch. On one side is the one serial killer, on the other side is the other serial killer, right? And I'm not even going to tell you what to think. In a minute, you're going to pull it up and show you. You just tell me what you think at that point, okay? Because I'm going to let you know a little funny fact. While all this is going on, and all this tool and all this bullshit that's being blamed, guess who works 2 miles down the road from this mall? Because remember, you heard about the age, you heard about what kind of victim it is, and then when I finally tell you who this guy is, you're going to start looking at me like, wait. And I'm like, calm down. Wait your turn. Just calm down. So guess who worked 2 miles from that mall in Hollywood that day? And the delivery vehicle that's used for his job was a big blue van. Think about that. What did the witness see? A guy tossing the kid into a big blue van. Witnesses also said where the head was found, a big blue van was seen there too. And as I said, this describes perfectly the delivery vehicle at this person's job. And their house is about 4 miles from the crime scene too. Even if you don't have the rest of the information, should this person be like looked into, you think? I think so, but that's just me. But okay, I don't know. I gotta show this shit to you. You can't understand until you literally see. Okay. No. Come on, where's the thing? No, I need both sides, not just the one. Because yes, we find out because the cops didn't think that there's a possible chance this gentleman was involved. They went to prison to question him 7 separate fucking times. And yeah, he just kept denying it. But since he was still in kind of like a protective custody kind of thing mixed in with other shit, it's been, well, I can't find the fucking, okay, do I at least have the picture of Tool and sketch? Is that, I don't know what's missing there. Adam Walsh sketch. Yeah. Come on, baby. Okay, so maybe that, But yeah, I mean, hypothetically, I can ask you this while things go on, okay? And I'm trying to find this as fast as possible. But if you had to think of one of the nastiest, notorious, fucked up serial killers of all time that might be attracted to killing a little white boy, what's the names that you possibly can think of in this matter? I'm not looking at the chat right now, but I don't think it's going to be that difficult to figure out. But when this gentleman was kicked out of the army, he did not feel like dealing with his daddy. He said daddy was going to make him feel like he's a loser and all this other crap. And so instead, he moved from his usual spot, where we know he's very infamous in, and they moved to Florida, Hollywood, Florida. And I couldn't find the one with all three, so such to be all. But I do have. Wait, I need to copy paste it. Can I just put it in? Stop, fucker. Just give me the link, you stupid bastard. Okay, that one right there. No, Quickie. But yes, I'm going to tell you, even though Otis Toole was blamed for the murder after he long was dead, I'm going to tell you, well, it doesn't make a difference because the other suspect is also dead. So, yeah. But it's, I don't know, I still find it interesting because I didn't know he was living in Florida. I didn't know he was that close. And by that point, he had already killed somebody where he came from. So it's not out of the realm reach. The only difference is the part that doesn't make much sense is, would this person kill a 5-year-old boy? Well, here's the thing. What do we know about Adam Walsh was done to him or whatever? And which one of these killers would be more likely the two to do something like that? And that is, his head was cut off, correct? Now, the two guys I'm about to name, including the one I'm about to show you, that includes the witness sketch, basically. Well, it's basically obvious that this guy that I'm about to show you is the one who liked to keep heads as a trophy. So, that gentleman right there in that link was 2 miles to 4 miles away from the scene at that exact moment Adam Walsh is being snatched and put into a blue van by a man that looks and resembles quite a bit like that guy you're looking at in the picture next to him. And I'm going to show you Otis Toole in a second. You tell me if he's ever mistaken the sketch guy for his hair. And be prepared. It's very ugly. I mean, very ugly. Okay. The delivery vehicle where he worked at a deli making sandwiches. Yes, the notorious sandwiches. Yeah. Was a big blue van. You know, like I said, the witnesses already stated that they saw Adam being thrown in this van. You see now the sketch compared to Jeffrey Dahmer himself. It looks pretty decent to me. I don't know about y'all. Uh, Dahmer, like they hold up the head and kept them as trophies and blah blah blah. Yeah, and if he had told anybody that he killed a 5-year-old boy, there's a chance he would have gotten murdered violently in prison, even though he was murdered violently in prison. Oh, yay! At least something happened right there. All right, now I'm going to show you guys Otis Toole. And look at the sketch in front of you that I just sent you. Compare it to Jeffrey. You said they're going to go, oh, yeah, I guess I can see it. Yeah, sure. Then look at this ugly, grotesque, freaky looking mother. He kind of looks like Ross. I need to stop making fun of Ross, but he's my boy, so he won't care. He did have you ever seen the whole Captain Howdy series that Gross did? It's actually decent. But it's not evil enough, and it doesn't make him look like a piece of shit as much as it should. When I want to do something on Howdy, I'm going to bring Mel in here, and Mel's going to help me destroy this fucker. That is Otis Toole. So please compare the sketch to the Jeffrey Dahmer person who's next to the sketch, and then compare it to the Otis Toole person that just now sent. And tell me, do you think that Otis Toole did it because she's the one that's blamed for it? Because as I said, the van Otis Toole didn't have. And witnesses all agreed. And oh, by the way, the witnesses now to this day, once they have seen everything about Dahmer and all this other stuff, they 100% believe that the man they saw the day was Jeffrey Dahmer. I'd like to believe that since Dahmer liked to kill and gut and play with the insides and shit of just about anything at any age, would he stop because the kid's 5? I don't think so. But yeah, if you look, and I'm pretty sure there's other evidence that also points in that direction too. Um, but some people go to conspiracy theories, and it gets really weird when you do that. And that is, it's been said that Adam Walsh was never killed at all, and that John Walsh and his wife sold him into sex slavery. I don't know who's all still in here, but sadly, I can show you actual recorded video footage on that shows basically that John Walsh has basically stolen all of his daughter's kids. Now, I know she's got some issues and stuff like that, but this just seems a little bit of, well, like she has some substance abuse issues. But does that seem like a decent enough reason? I mean, I don't know. I don't know her myself. I have talked to her once because Ruckus didn't want to answer the case file. So he told me to answer the case file and just say that I booked for him and whatever. And I'm like, fuck you, bro. But I started to do it, but then when I realized who the hell I was talking to, I don't know. I don't think Adam Walsh ever lived. That's my own personal. I mean, yeah, he lived, but yeah, he got killed later. He got kidnapped. That's what I'm saying. Be cool if y'all actually knew Florida cases. But yeah, I'm like, we have some weird shit here that most places don't have. I think California is the only state I can think of that has this, and then it's serial killer cops. Yeah, I think California is indeed the only one that has two of them, and no other state even has one except for Florida, which got about 7 or 8. And I know what you're thinking. That Charles is being sarcastic and talking shit again. No. There's literally been like Manuel Pardo out of Miami, a police officer who went on the visual attack thing or whatever, and killed a bunch of like a Batman type. Okay, um, what's his damn name? The cop in Naples who last was seen picking up Felipe Santos and Terrence Williams, whose bodies have never been found. Detective Steve Calkins, Deputy Steve Calkins, unarrested. Last one to see both of these victims, and they were under his arrest, and they were never seen again, and he lied about both of them. So not only was he fired, he was sued for a wrongful death lawsuit, but he won it because, of course, there's nobody found, so nobody can prove they're dead. And nobody knows to this day what he did to those two guys. But he's hiding in like Utah and shit now. So that's 2 right there. Okay, there's Deputy or Officer Joseph or whatever Duckett. Duckett is attached to an unsolved murder out of Grady Judd, Polk County, of a young 13-year-old girl named Jennifer Weldon. And he's already been convicted in the murder of Teresa McAbee, who was another 13-year-old girl who just went up to the store to get and he also sexually assaulted her and everything else, and it's assumed the same for Jennifer Weldon, and then killed them, strangled them, tossed them into a canal or ditch. When Duckett was accused and he blamed for Teresa McAbee's murder, he basically expired, so he had to go work at the mines near his house. And the mines were exactly on the way from the girl's house that she would have to walk by to get all the way back to fucking to the fair, is where she was trying to go. She never made it to the fair, and she never made it home, and they found her body. And he worked at the mine, which would have been on the way for anybody to have to walk by to get if they were trying to go to the fair. So, like I said, in my opinion, that's just, Duckett's the third one. There's a guy with the last name Ware on the other side of West Palm Beach or whatever. He's also a serial killer, kind of like a speed freak killer, but not. So that's four. Um, who's the one? Shit. Um, who's the one that was Gerard John Schaefer, the cannibal cop? They killed at least four that I think they proved and kidnapped two others that got away and suspecting well over 50 murders. And I believe every fucking murder. That's five or six. There's probably about later on I can find more. Oh yeah, there's a guy I don't know his name, but basically he's now being linked to a bunch of little girls that were essayied and murdered near here in this county. And California, they have the Golden State Killer, original Night Stalker, who ended up being the D'Angelo fucker. What's that? What's all these links? No, that's not it. I'm really fucking you know, y'all can bring up another case if you want to talk about a different one. Well, I mean, we're supposed to do a series on I want to keep saying it's the brothers or whatever, but technically you got to be careful about that because Gary was never arrested or blamed or anything for whatever reason, and Larry was basically only blamed for four. Whatever the series, I figured I'd just call it like Blackbird or whatever because that's what Larry Hall seemed to be really interested in. And that's the story. It's pretty fucking crazy because you have two possible serial killing brothers that are biologically identical twins. But the problem is they try to eat each other in the fucking womb, so one of them is like not as derpier version of the other one. They're both kind of derpy and kind of weird and kind of creepy in their own way, but one's less derpy. One way I can explain it. Like, they have interviews with Gary and shit. I don't know, he seems creepy as fuck to me. Yeah. Interviews with Larry Hall. He's a creepy fuck too. Well, they would pick up all these girls, and the problem was that most people blamed them for about 13 to 14 different homicides. Of course, they were not charged for that, and Gary is free. I think he's about to die, actually, of natural causes. And there was some weird shit. I don't even remember what it was. Well, they used to go to these Civil War reenactments, him and his brother. They'd hop in their van and drive all over the place. And in the meantime, there's lots of women in Indiana and Illinois and Chicago and stuff like that. They claim to have ran into these guys and didn't get in their vehicle, and that's basically what saved their lives. At some point, people said they saw somebody with Larry that did not look like Gary, which of course Gary looks like the other one. You know, they all look the same. They died, except for the half brother. They grew up at a cemetery. And I think, like I said, they're blamed for about 13 different girls. Usually young, not sex workers or anything. And but basically, that's what happens when you die or whatever. And you're not being able to do that shit anymore. As I was saying, there comes a weird part in the thing where Larry's convicted of crimes after they pulled over. He's suspected in 13 murders, but they don't have the evidence, and only go after lesser charges and considering a 20-year sentence. But they're hoping to find something before he gets let out. Apparently, it didn't work, so I seen it, but only got out. But no, I'm not talking about the usual guy. I'm talking about the tire guy. He went to jail too. Didn't he? Fighting somebody or some bullshit. Yeah, sneaky your ass. Well, um, the problem is they think they only have 13 victims, but in that area of Indiana, well, for one, the only thing that he did it and nobody else helped him, and that's the biggest crack shit I've ever heard in my fucking life. And that's because um, somebody would have to drive and you'd have to roll into the victim unless you knock them the hell out or whatever else. They also had a half brother that helped them do their work at the grade and shit for their father. And weird kind of environments and shit like that create situations like that. So it wouldn't be too hard to fathom like all four murderous bastards are kind of connected. Which they are because they're all fucking related. And finally, Barry got busted. They found a huge ass bottle of fucking birth control pills, and they took him to prison. I remember on some dumb charges, like a 20-year-old kidnapping charge or something like that. And yeah, bitch was fast too. This old man and all that took her to business. You guys go get in the car, and I'm not once again. Right, he said it. Right, he said it. And yeah, but the problem is, lies in the fact that in that area there's like 52 unsolved homicides of women. And I don't know. Yeah, I think they were on the way to the stupid costume on and shit when he got pulled over and arrested because he sexually assaulted and murdered. No, it looks like everything's kind of died out, so I'm going to go ahead and stream somebody's talking. Yeah,